Bread 'em and say cheese.
Life can get convoluted in a lot of different ways, and I want to thank my guest today. Now, you're the one who was betrayed.
Yes.
And you're the partner who strayed from your relationship.
Of course.
And how many times have you been with another woman since you've been married?
More than 1,000.
What?
Okay, why?
Hillary was a great ride, but not good enough.
So how does that make you feel?
Very, very ugly.
She says he started gagging at the side of her body. Flabby stomach, sagging chest, stretch marks.
She was a pig.
Hey. She spent 20 grand on plastic surgery hoping her husband would only have eyes for her.
Yes.
But she says it wasn't enough to keep him faithful.
No.
Because you've cheated since the surgery, right?
I couldn't stop.
Now, this woman that you were with Monday night?
This was 3 women.
3. All at one time?
Of course.
Okay.
I never wanted that night to end.
Are you listening to this?
Yeah.
Now, you got a serious decision to make. He believes he should be allowed to cheat when he gets bored. You need to get a divorce and move on. Are you willing to do that, are you?
Absolutely not.
Can you understand? He was with somebody Monday night.
You bet I did.
Hillary was all for it.
In fact, I procured women for Bill.
I was so proud of her.
Okay. I mean, are you cool with it?
Yes.
If not, I would be gone.
Oh, is that it? Kind of abrupt. 10:02 at 560 WQM. Happy Thursday. George will be on tomorrow. I'm getting out of here.
Bugging.
That's right. George will be on with, what's her name, Julie? Julie.
I don't
by
think
Bobby,
so.
Who was it, Bobby Sherman? Oh, brother. I'd rather hear Alan Sherman than Bobby Sherman. But nevertheless. You know, we got over 1,200 votes to start today, and you want to know why? Because in spite of your protestations yesterday, I did a smart thing. I put the new poll on right in the middle of the show, right smack dab in the middle. And bada bing! There it is. Over 1,200 to start. So even Chris knows we can do 1,500. Julie. Boy, that Bobby Sherman, could he sing or what, huh?
No.
Could she belt out a tune? Bobby Sherman. Another
Going to talk it up anyway, aren't you?
Queen. Horrible. Now, that would be a good poll question. Who was the worst? Fabian, Tab Hunter, Bobby Sherman. Who are some of those other...
What is the category? Just bad or...
Make-believe singers.
Oh.
Make-believe singers, as opposed to, like, maybe real singers?
Lounge acts, you mean?
Whatever you want to call them.
All right.
Who is it that you were calling a lounge act that really pissed
Luis
me
Miguel.
off? Well, that is so tacky, man. It is so bad. Boy, I wish I had a bunch of Luis Miguel. I'd put it on here right now just as a form of protest. I'd be so fired up and pissed off. You don't really believe that. He's a lounge act?
We don't want to go over it again. He doesn't write. He doesn't originate. He just shows up.
Oh,
Somebody
but you stop
hands him a
because he doesn't
sheet
write
of
the music, therefore he's not a great singer.
Of lyrics.
That's like saying that because
sings.
Pavarotti didn't write all those operas that he sang, that didn't make him a great singer. What kind of crap is that? It's so
he's a great
idiotic
singer,
on the
but he's not a
face of it.
musician.
So what difference does it make?
Well, that's what I care
People,
about.
when they listen to music, they're not listening thinking, oh, is he a great musician? Did he write the lyrics? Who cares,
I do.
okay? Bob Dylan wrote a lot of great lyrics, too. Does that mean he's a singer?
No.
If I want to listen to somebody sing, I want to hear a great singer, not somebody who's a great musician.
I got way more Luis Miguel than I ever wanted to have.
Well, you don't need it, okay?
I know. I'm going to delete it.
Oh,
because I don't need it.
Swania.
Yeah, I wish I was right now.
I can even talk this one up if you shut up already. A voice that just melts your existence. It just melts like butter.
Sounded like he was hurting.
You know, you're such a putz. I take back what I said about Josh Cordes before the show today. By the way, Josh, the check's in the mail, sweetie. He's just, I don't know.
Sounded like he was hurting when he was trying to sing.
He didn't sound like he was hurting at
Josh
all.
Cordes?
He sounded, Josh.
There's nothing wrong with Luis Miguel's voice. He just doesn't sing any songs that anyone would ever want to hear.
That's why he sold millions of albums.
Yeah.
That's why.
So
Nobody wanted to hear
people
him.
like you, old women,
they felt
and
sorry
fat
for him because
fags,
he had a fat ass and because Mariah didn't realize that he was
gay
like that. Anyway, thanks to Alberto, whoever you are, for sending in some really interesting trivial crap. I think this is pretty interesting before we dive into all that other crap about NBC. Got the video from whatever his name is, from that crazy nut job. Life in the 1500s. The next time you're washing your hands and complain because the water temperature isn't just how you like it, think about how things used to be. Here are some facts about the 1500s. Boy, that's just before I was born. Most people got married in June because they took their yearly bath in May. Oh! And still smelled pretty good by June. However, they were starting to smell, so brides carried a bouquet of flowers to hide the body odor. Hence, the custom today of carrying a bouquet when getting married.
Makes sense.
Oh, they took their yearly bath in May. Oh, I know some people like that. By the way, I lost my ass at Woodbine yesterday, for anybody who cares. They're just stealing money. Baths consisted of a big tub filled with hot water. The man of the house had the privilege of the nice clean water, then all the other sons and men, and then the women, and finally the children, last of all the babies. Oh.
Nice.
By then the water was so dirty you could actually lose somebody in it, hence the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bath water. That's cute. I like that. Now we're learning stuff. It's not even 10:15 yet, and already I'm learning stuff. Like I shouldn't have come in here today. And like Chris is just sucking up to you again, knocking Luis Miguel. You only wish that you, A, looked like him, B, had his money, and C, had that voice. But other than that...
Yeah.
Houses had thatched roofs, thick straw, piled high, with no wood underneath. It was the only place for animals to get warm, so all the cats, other small animals, mice and bugs lived in the roof. When it rained, it became slippery, and sometimes the animals would slip and fall off. Hence the saying, it's raining cats and dogs. I like that. Maybe some of the men were up on the roof. And then when they slipped off and it got to be slippery... it's raining men up on the roof. How do you like that?
When this old world starts getting me down.
I'm tempted just to play those two. It could be We're in Love and Up on the Roof by the Crying Shames, all the way through.
I won't
What's
argue
that other
with
one,
you.
Sugar and Spice?
It beats the hell out of Luis Miguel.
Bubblegum. No, it does not beat the hell out of Luis Miguel. Where did this come from all of a sudden?
I was tired of biting my tongue all those years ago.
Because he's Mexican, Italian, is that it? Because he's got a little Mexican in him?
Because his music is for old women and fags.
Like me, that's right. And all those rednecks in Tampa that were buying Luis Miguel when I was playing it on the air.
I said fags.
Oh, yeah. There's no fags in Tampa.
Oh,
you
yeah.
With it, mister. Anyway, there was nothing to stop things from falling into the house. This posed a real problem in the bedroom where bugs and other droppings could mess up your nice clean bed. Hence, a bed with big posts and a sheet hung over the top afforded some protection. That's how canopy beds came into existence. Nothing like a canopy.
Right. Or bottles.
The floor was dirt. Only the wealthy had something other than dirt, hence the saying, dirt poor. The wealthy had slate floors that would get slippery in the winter when wet, so they spread thresh, straw on the floor to help keep their footing. As the winter wore on, they added more thresh until when you opened the door, it would all start slipping outside. A piece of wood was placed in the entranceway, hence the saying, a threshold. Huh.
Wow.
I'll be gosh danged.
Careful.
I'll be god darned.
Careful how you dang
In
it.
those old days, they cooked in the kitchen with a big kettle that always hung over the fire. Every day, they lit the fire and added things to the pot. They ate mostly vegetables and didn't get much meat. They would eat the stew. They would eat the stew for dinner, leaving leftovers in the pot to get cold overnight, and then start over the next day. Sometimes stew had food in it that had been there for quite a while. Hence the rhyme, peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, peas porridge in the pot 9 days old. I never heard that in my life.
Me either. That's where they lost me.
And I think I did a fine reading on it, too. Especially for a virgin reading. I never heard that crap. Peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, peas porridge in the pot 9 days old. All right. Bunch of crap. Sometimes they could obtain pork, which made them feel quite special.
Yeah.
I had such a great line,
Bite your tongue there,
I'm not going to say
Porky.
it. When visitors came over, they would hang up their bacon to show off. It was a sign of wealth that a man could bring home the bacon. They would cut off a little to share with guests and all sit around and chew the fat. Oh, bring home the bacon and chew on the fat.
Right.
Good God almighty, this is educational. Thank you, Alberto. And there's a lot more. Those with money had plates of pewter, made of pewter. Food with high acid content caused some of the lead to leach onto the food, causing lead poisoning, death. This happened most often with tomatoes, so for the next 400 years or so, tomatoes were considered poisonous. Those deadly nightshades. Bread was divided according to status. Workers got the burnt bottom of the loaf, the family got the middle, and guests got the top or the upper crust. You see that?
Yeah.
The upper crust. Lead cups were used to drink ale or whiskey. The combination would sometimes knock the imbibers out for a couple of days. Someone walking along the road would take them for dead and prepare them for burial. They were laid out on the kitchen table for a couple of days, and the family would gather around and eat and drink and wait and see if they would wake up. Hence the custom of holding a wake.
Makes sense.
Oh, wake up!
Yeah. Poke 'em.
England is old and small, and local folks started running out of places to bury people, so they would dig up coffins and would take the bones to a bone house and reuse the grave. Oh, it sounds like that movie, Hostel.
Yeah, don't get
When
pokey
opening
about
these coffins, 1 out of 25 coffins were found to have scratch marks on the inside, and they realized they'd been burying people alive, so they would tie a string on the wrist of the corpse lead it through the coffin and open and up through the ground and tie it to a bell. Someone would have to sit out in the graveyard all night, the graveyard shift, to listen for the bell. Thus, someone could be saved by the bell or was considered a dead ringer. Man, oh man, how do you like all of these expressions?
I feel so enlightened
the origin
now.
of. Wow, and it says that's the truth. Now, whoever said history was boring.
Feel so much smarter.
Ring my bell. Now, who did that? Ring my bell.
Anita
Melody?
Ward.
Who did?
Anita Ward.
Anita Ward. Melody did. I got a brand new bell, or saved something like that. Isn't that got a brand new? What's she do? Brand new pair of roller skates. Brand new key. Melody, that's a horrible song, and don't you dare play that.
No, I'm working on Ring My Bell. Thank you very much.
Oh, by Anita Ward.
Yeah, it's got a better beat. You can dance to it. Way better than that Melanie song. Ugh. Talk about novelty. Right. Listen to it.
Yeah, I do like that.
You gonna talk it up?
I like that. I just did. Bad song, by the way. And a medley of her smash, I'm sure. Did we ever hear Anita Ward anymore? We had Billy Ward and the Dominoes, Deep Purple. Now, if you got that, I will actually have sexual excitement in my toes.
Billy Ward and the Dominoes, what?
Deep Purple. By Hoagie Carmichael, by the way. A little trivia there for old people like Chicken Neck. I bet she remembers Hoagie Carmichael.
No,
he's only been dead for, what, about 100 years?
I got some Deep Purple, but...
No, I'm not talking about Hush by Deep Purple, although I do like that.
No, I got Deep Purple by Donnie and Marie.
Oh, let's hear that. I love
Nino,
old Donnie.
And Nino Tempo.
Nino Tempo and April Stevens. Right.
This is the Donnie and Marie one.
Oh.
I got the other one, too, so, whatever.
Well, wait a minute. What about...
Finally got a call here. The number one rated
Mo Temple and...
At least according
well,
to
that's
my
better. That's the best one yet.
Stay away from me. I don't even know how you have children. Miramar, hello.
I don't have time to play that. Well, we'll do after the break.
Yeah.
It's to the tune of Deep Purple. I'll tell you one thing. That day when I had Donnie on a show at IOD, and it's too bad that he was already too old and hairy and everything by then. If he would have been like about, 18, that's legal.
Now, did you have him on the show the way we want to have Julie on the show?
He was not sitting on my lap, and his wife was sitting in the control room giving me dirty looks. You weren't there when that happened.
No,
I guess Marvin was still working.
I guess.
Yeah, I had him.
I don't blame her.
He was a good kid. I'll say it again. He
she
really
knew what
impressed
you were
the
all
hell out of
about.
me. He was a good guy and a good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I put my hand on his leg, he kind of smiled.
You'll be hard pressed to find a Mormon who isn't a nice person.
Really?
Really.
But I mean, he wasn't like a religious fanatic. He wasn't
uptight
about homos like me and stuff
they're
like that.
just nice people. That's all they talk about.
His wife, though, was kind of farbissant. She kept looking at me like, you touch him and you're dead meat, you old faggot.
She could feel it. She could feel the vibe.
Yeah, I bet she did feel it more than once.
Howard David's a bitch. Oh, what is it? Finally got a call here. The number one rated Mo Howard and David in his show. At least according to my aspirations. Stay away from me. I don't even know how you have children. Miramar, hello.
Yes, I want your take on Jay Fiedler.
Oh, well, Jay Fiedler is a great quarterback and a good Jew.
I like Jay Fiedler.
Well, not to mention he's got extraordinarily smooth buttocks.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, but you gotta be careful what you say here.
Oh, Tito, thank you, Mo.
No, wait a minute, don't go.
But I have nothing else to say.
How about this? How's the weather down there in the Miramar?
I'm right down the street from you.
Yeah.
I have to go.
Oh, wait, by the way, something.
No, I have to go.
Look, I tell you what, I'll hold you over the break. How's that, huh? I'll give you one of my old tank T-shirts. How's that?
Bye.
No, wait! That was the only caller we had.
The veins on your nose is glowing again. You got big purple veins on your nose and on your face, and around those oozing pimples you call If you go look in the mirror, you'll see a roadmap of ypsilanti. You got your hairpiece on, way too tight.
My nose glows when something stings. Almost every day I think. And my veins, they start to tickle. My adenoid, yeah, I look like I'm falling apart. That's because I'm a crazy old fart. With a nose that's filled with purple veins. It's
this light that you wants to steal. On Science Channel Discovery. Our nose has a bleeding purple vein.
Eat your heart out, Hoagie Carmichael. Nobody ever sang it like that. Although I don't think he wrote Deep Purple. I think he wrote Stardust.
All right.
You want to Google that, Deep Purple, and see who wrote that?
Hey, Chris, you want to Google that?
Deep Purple. Can you do it? Can you handle it, Chris? In between sandwiches, in between shoving all that food down your fat face?
Hey, the breakfast hasn't even shown up yet, so.
And what happened yesterday with the Char Hut? I don't want to pee on their parade with that, but you guys
we
are
got our chicken finger ration.
Oh, chicken fingers, my ass. Didn't you hear that thing that I read the professor sent in about all those things that are bad for, including fried, whatever, deep fried chicken crap?
Uh-huh.
And you don't care.
What do you mean I don't care? We takes what we get.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're killing you with that stuff. If they'd send you some of the good stuff, like the burgers and stuff, and the weenies.
Eat that, too.
And
weenies.
The sausage. Yeah, weenies.
That's for
we
you.
got plenty of those running around that place. Well, I'm off of food. I'm going to do the Dr. Sanjay Pupta Karen Carpenter diet, with a few exceptions. You know, if I have like a special event, special lunch or something like that, I'll pig out. And then the rest of the time, I'm just not eating. Anybody believe that? I'll tell you how full of crap I am. Yesterday, after losing my ass, I went upstairs to the second level of Woodbine where you can watch the races. And they have a cafeteria up there with, crap, pizza and hot dogs and burgers and stuff. And guess what I had?
What?
What was I talking about yesterday? About on Fridays,
Weenies.
No. Instead of meat, what do you eat on Fridays, your people?
Or the fish.
No.
Well, you had some shrimp or lobster or something.
No, I did not.
No.
What is wrong with you? Something really bad for me. That's it. My blood sugar is skyrocketing.
Ice cream.
No.
Potatoes.
Friday, no meat. What do Catholics eat on Friday for the last 6 billion years?
Fish.
No. Macaroni and cheese.
Oh, that.
God dang, you people are slow.
So,
I talked about it yesterday, and that goes to prove that nobody's paying any attention to what I'm saying, which I don't really care as long as I get paid.
I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Huh?
I don't remember what happened this morning, except I went to the bathroom twice.
I lost my ass at Woodbine. Not good. I'd have rather sent that money to Josh and his dog. You're okay, Josh. I'll take care of you. Next time, though, don't ask in such a, I don't know. Send me an email this morning. I probably shouldn't mention it on the air. His dog needs an operation, and I'll take care of it. No problem. No problem. But just don't be so demanding, like, hey, old man, send me some money, dang it. He didn't say that, but you know what I mean? I'd go back there and pat him on the head and say, listen, you're a good guy, Josh, and I know the old man really likes you a lot. Not as much as you think, and certainly not in the way you wish, but nevertheless. Even when he stuck his tongue down my throat, I was kind of like revolted by it. Like, ooh, I recoiled. You know what I mean? Like, fat.
He said you pulled him in harder. So, Nino Tempo and April Stevens, 1963.
Yes. What about it? That's not what I was asking. I've already just got through telling you that. Deep Purple.
Who wrote it?
Oh,
who wrote the song?
Written by pianist Peter DeRose.
What? Written by a pianist?
In 1923.
God almighty.
Dip it in ink first?
Wow. Now that's interesting. I've heard of writing with a quill.
I dipped it in ink well.
And with an old fountain pen, but that's certainly interesting to me. I've seen all of that other pop art. How, you ever see it? Pop right art?
Sure.
Right art? Now, this is not a funny story. You better stop laughing.
All right.
Although, actually, it is, because it was an accident, but nobody got hurt, and there wasn't really any accident, and nothing happened. Just another bunch of American monkey-see, monkey-do crap. Too much monkeying around. Oh, speaking of that, there's that little Alberto Gonzales. Boy, he is obnoxious. Liar, disgusting, criminal, gangster, piece of turd. Part of the Fourth Reich. 8 buildings along Northrop Mall on the University of Minnesota campus were evacuated yesterday afternoon because of a bomb threat. Una bomba grande that never went off, and it was never there. University officials said a typed note was found in a bathroom in Smith Hall, a chemistry building. Oh, I bet you there have been plenty of bombs dropped in there. By a student and turned over to a faculty member at 12:15 yesterday afternoon. All classes and meetings in those buildings were canceled for the day. But everything is just fine. Don't get panicky if you got kids at the University of Minnesota. And first of all, if you got kids at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, I'd like to understand why. Why would anybody go there? I mean, I could understand Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Florida State, right?
Right. What?
Gatorland. I can understand those places. But University of Minnesota, they got a pretty good hockey team, I guess. Although I guess Michigan State won the big enchilada, whatever. How the Panthers doing in the playoffs? Same as the Leafs, huh?
They're unbeaten.
That's right. They've lost no games in the playoffs this year. The worst trade possibly in modern history in the National Hockey League, man, and those bozos are still there. Jack Martin. Same old crap, man. Trading away one of the best 3 or 4 goalies in the entire game, Roberto Luongo, made 76 saves in Vancouver's first win in the playoffs. 76 in 4 overtimes, and they won a game. For a guy that couldn't stop a bowling ball, Alex Auld my ass. And then, of course, speaking of old, Eddie Balfour, who just turned 98. What's your take on the shootings at Virginia Tech was our poll question yesterday. We aborted that in the middle of the show, and we went into the new one, which now we got 1,246. We're going to do over 1,500 during the show today, although we had a pretty good head start, but nevertheless. There's a little trick of the trade for you there, Georgie.
Okay.
Start the poll the previous day on the air and then build up to about 75 million votes, and then you can get 100 million by the time the show's done.
If I cared, I might do that.
Hey, look at that, Jolly Joe, and he'll stay. I still like the tapes. Mm-hmm. See, the fact that he was trying to push the tapes, on Fridays, if it was up to him, I guarantee with me taking tomorrow off, he would rather play a tape than have you do the show tomorrow.
Sure. You're no Neil Rogers.
Then again, who is?
Right.
Then again, who is Jolly Joe? How about putting Joe Zagacki on to talk some sports crap, huh? Let me say it right now for the record, before I do this break. Let me say it publicly for the record. Jolly Joe Bell and his accomplice in crime, his assassin, Clarence Darrow, were being held hostage by crazy people. Now, you saw this guy in Blacksburg. You see, when you have crazy people, you got to take care of them and put them away so they don't do any damage. They don't hurt somebody. It was an accident. A lot of people got hurt. And this is no accident at QM. This is another Beasley abortion is what it is. As Jolly Joe just, we got a lot of spots, and we got that building up there, and we're doing just fine. And you're going to have a big number there in March, Neil, even though, of course, you can't take any calls from anybody with an IQ larger than their thumbnail, and you certainly, can't do the show the way you want to. And we're certainly not going to promote anything because we don't want to spend any money, and it's a darn good thing. And you know something? I'm going to have to, this afternoon, get on the horn with Office Depot and get you a drum. Now that you came up with the toner cartridges, now we got to get a new drum for that machine. Because they're sure not going to do it. Yeah, let's get a new drum.
This is an African drum, by the way.
Don't start with the racial crap. Look what happened to Imus.
My second favorite kind of drum. What you talking about?
Look what happened to Uncle Imus.
Hi, this is G. Gordon Liddy, and they don't come any worse than Neil Rogers.
Are you ready to order, sir?
Yes, I'll have the... Shoot! Steak, please.
This man suffers from a rare form of Tourette syndrome called G-rated Tourette's.
That comes with a vegetable.
I'll try the... carrots, please.
Symptoms of G-rated Tourette syndrome include uncontrollable outbursts of euphemisms.
And for an appetizer?
How about the... Shucks! Shrimp cocktail.
Unfortunately, there is no cure for G-rated Tourette's.
Would you care for a salad?
Yes, the heck house salad. Oh, wait, you know what? Make that a gosh, Greek salad.
Okay, that's one. Greek salad.
The good news is G-rated Tourette's isn't as offensive as other forms of Tourette's. The bad news is it's a lot more annoying.
And for dessert?
Oh, I'll have the fudge.
Oh, yeah. I'll have some of that. 10:33, 27 before 11. Let's take a look at that schedule. No Marlin game today, like at 12:30 would be really nice. But we got one tonight, 6:30. How'd they do last night against the Mets?
They got stomped on.
Oh, no.
Like 9-2.
6-8. That ain't too great, 6-8. Of course, that's because they got the Dave Van Boring broadcasting the games. Man, he could put anybody into a coma. Maybe the team is listening in the dugout, and they're going, oh, man, wake up, guys. Oh, it's Dave Van Boring putting people to sleep. I tell you, we got more bad people on here on this radio station. It really is scary. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But nevertheless. But then we got that. Let's see. Here's the schedule today. Mad Dog at 2. Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together between 4 and 5. The Humper, 5 to 6:30 this afternoon. Fat Hank. Then you got Marlins on deck at 6:30. 7:05 to Marlins at the Mets as they try to win a game. That would be nice sometime, soon. And then after the game, it's game night with Eddie K till 1 in the a.m. An Australian scientist called yesterday for an end to the age-old tradition of cremation, saying the practice contributed to global warming. I bet you didn't know that.
Nope.
Professor Roger Short said people could instead choose to help the environment after death. Wait till you hear this, by being buried in a cardboard box under a tree.
With or without a bell?
Oh, you can put a little bell in the box just in case they're still alive. Yeah, that's the one that I had in mind. That one would be good.
better, Bell?
Which one's better?
Yours.
Oh. How about just... The decomposing bodies would provide the tree with nutrients, and the tree would convert carbon dioxide into life-giving oxygen for decades, he said. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have, like in a shoebox. I'm going to have my ashes put in a shoebox and buried under somebody's tree in their backyard. And they can always say, oh, old Grandma Neil, he's out in the backyard now.
I want it. I want to parcel it up and sell it on eBay.
That would be a lot of
Chunks
fun.
of Neil.
The important thing is, what a shame to be cremated when you can go up in a big bubble of carbon dioxide, Short told AFP. Why waste all that carbon dioxide on your death, he asks. Never really thought about it. Short said the cremation of the average male in Australia, during which the body is heated to 850 degrees Celsius, that's 1,562 degrees Fahrenheit. God almighty, that's hotter than South Florida. By the way, if there's one place that makes hell seem like paradise, it's South Florida. We were discussing that before the show today. For 90 minutes, they heat it. 1,562 degrees produces more than 50 kilograms, 110 pounds of carbon dioxide. That's bad. And that doesn't include the carbon cost of fuel or the cost of the emissions released during the production and burning of the wooden casket. A tisket, a tasket, beware of that casket. And watch out for your basket. Now, did Milton Berle die or what?
Yes.
Because they said that Milton Berle and Warren Beatty were the two guys in Hollywood that have a difficult time closing the casket. Short, a reproductive biologist at the University of Melbourne, said the contribution of cremation to harmful greenhouse gases was small, and he didn't wish to prevent people from choosing how their body was disposed of according to their religion. Oh, just like that South Korean guy, the crazy guy, all that religious mumbo-jumbo, and he's going to go out like Jesus, and et cetera and so on. Jesus only wishes they would have had guns back then. Getting shot sure would have beaten hanging up there on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
But to bury the hatchet with environmentalists, what a play on words that is. Isn't that cute? To bury the hatchet with environmentalists, Short suggested it would not be a bad idea to bequeath one's body as food for a forest. You can actually do after your death an enormous amount of good for the planet, he said. The more forest you plant, the better. Now we're talking. Let's bury Jeff DeForest in DeForest. That sounds good to me. And you want to know why we want to do that? Well, that's probably part of the reason, because he's an idiot. Because everybody hates him like poison. We hate you, Defoe. I'll never forget the day he was standing out with Greg Reed, in the parking right under the building there, the preferred parking where some of us important people used to park. And he was backstabbing me, but he at least was doing it, well, he was already in the middle of doing it when I came out the door,
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how I was ripping some bank at IOD and they lost the account. He was just giving Greg a whole song and dance about what a bad guy I am. My good friend, Mifo. You're just a backstabbing fool, Mifo. And it's too bad we didn't get your job over there at IOD and give it to some half-ass like the Rim Man. Some half-assed, half-talent, like the Rim Man. Let's take a look at these poll results. It's already 10:37. We're getting a little behind today, but you know what? Take your time. I sound pretty good today for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel all that good, but I sound pretty good.
I don't know. How do you look?
Well, that's because I don't look good
Soft.
at all. I look like me.
Squishy.
Oh,
doughy.
pudgy.
Uh-huh.
Really pudgy. I got to lose about 600 pounds.
Remember what Ron Diaz said?
What did he say?
Never seen a softer man in my life.
Yeah, what did that mean?
That means you're soft. That means you don't work out. You're not macho. You're not ripped and muscular.
Yeah, but I'm still on the air making big bucks. What's he doing, the cigar store?
I don't know.
Piece of crap,
looking
Ron
like an
Diaz.
engine.
You're going to tempt me into playing that Ron and Ron thing,
I would never do anything like that.
Way up in Tampa was a crappy morning show.
Yeah. Well, we got one of those. Okay, here's the poll from yesterday. I threatened to read this minutes ago, and then we got into that thing about putting your ashes in a box under a tree. I mean, does it really make a difference?
I didn't want my ashes under a tree. I just wanted, my carcass under there so the roots would grow through my ribs. And the worms would, eat my eyeballs.
Oh. What's your take on the shootings at Virginia Tech? 1,024 votes, and then we, had Polus Interruptus right there in the middle of the show. We changed the poll. And one today we already got 1266. By the time I get around to reading it, we might have 1,300 votes. How do you like that, Chris? I bet you we can do 16 during the show today. 1,600. That would make your tongue just tingle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, okay.
You couldn't care less. You're turning out to be such a bitter disappointment.
I can't say what I was going to say.
Oh, here's a bulletin from the Village Voice. It says, today's voice. I can't even read this thing. Get out of here, okay? Don't be bothering me. What's your take on the shootings at Virginia Tech? Guns are too easy to get, 378. It's the American effing way, 325. Both of which, of course, are fine choices. Schmidt happens, 130. What a sad excuse that is. Yeah, Schmidt happens. Isolated incident, 106. Don't F with my gun, 68. And I don't care, 17. At least that number didn't go up. Well, we chopped the poll off before it could go up. I don't care 17. Isn't that nice? 32 innocent kids get blown away. Their lives get snuffed out. This crazy person who they already knew was a crazy person, and they already had a hold of his ass, and they turn like everywhere else. Everywhere else in America it goes on. They have some grotesque lunatic in custody, just like Bundy when he walked out. Remember, he just walked out the window. They went to have like a little conference, and he was up in the interview room there, and he just opened the window and he kind of moseyed on out.
He bugged out.
Yeah, when in doubt, his eyes bugged out. Ted Bundy, I bet you when they pulled the switch, his eyes bugged out too, Ted Bundy.
Probably.
Won't see him no more. Out of 1,024. And like I said, when we come back after the break, I bet you we're going to be closing in on 1,300 votes on the poll, and then they will fear us. And like I said, I don't, as far as the calls are concerned, you know. See, I have Joe Bell disease. I'm suffering from a very serious case of Joe Bell disease. That's why I'm a little off my feet today, although I sound really great, if you ask me. Ask me if I sound great.
Do you sound great?
Yes. But I have Joe Bell disease, so as far as the phone is concerned, I think if I touch it, I'm going to get like Berry.
Since 2004, those emails have been separated from an RNC policy, which is to automatically delete every 30 days deleted emails. So we screwed up.
Oh, I'm an email, an old deleted email. You can delete me all you want, but you're gonna fail. You're gonna be relieved when you no longer see me on your drive. But I'm still alive until an override. I made a grade but won't die. Regretfully, I got to say that you can't throw me away. All the data is saved of what you type and you say, I'm an email.
You can't erase emails. They've gone through too many servers. They can't say they've been lost. That's like saying the dog ate my homework. It doesn't work that way. They just don't want to produce it.
No, there ain't none of the White House power abusers that knows how to use a newfangled computer. They can't trade any paper or try to place the blame on a key punch operator. I just don't go away. You can fail, but you'll fail. I always leave a trail. I'm an email. Oh, I'm an email, an RNC email. You can try to dump me, but I'll still tattletale. It looks like you violated the Hatch Act. Hey, how about that? Another 18-minute gap. Yeah, history repeats with more Republican hijinks. When you dump 5 million emails, something stinks. But you can't make them go away. Once you send me around, I can always be found. I'm an email.
1046, guess what? Can you hear it in the background? I think that's that Cho guy, that the terrorist is here.
Or is it coming at you?
They're conducting another fire alarm, which you'll start hearing all the wailing. I better close the door, you think? Or should I leave it open?
Oh, leave it open for fun.
I don't want to leave it open for fun. I don't want to hear it. One moment, please.
You crazy people, another freaking fire alarm. Jesus Christ.
God almighty, when are they going to stop already with a fire alarm? And this is one of those things that's like the boy who cried wolf, you know. If we ever did have a real fire here, nobody would believe it. I mean, ordinarily, once in a while, those things will go off at night. It'll be like a false alarm, you know. And I don't even pay any attention to it. I could always jump, I guess. 1,277 votes already on today's poll. I bet you if I click that view current thing, and there's that goofy guy with the glasses again, with those awful, evil glasses. And he reminds me of Travis Bickle. Not. That's what they're trying to say now. Oh, he's a crazed loner. I don't think Travis Bickle whispered a lot, did he? You remember him whispering? You talking to me? Huh?
Right, no.
You talking to me?
He sounded off like he had a pair.
Well, how come I can hear that so loud? I got the door closed. Now, can you hear that?
No. Oh, yeah, I can now, yeah.
Jesus, they got that thing cranked up on slow cook. Man, crazy people. 1,280 votes on the poll. When a religion restricts you to certain foods on certain days or forbids you to eat them at all, like pork and like, what are other crap?
Shellfish, right? Cloven hoof animals.
Cloven hooves. That is crazy as Schmidt, 433. That's right. Only crazy people would obey that. Only lemmings, only simpletons would go along with that. Oh, yeah, that makes sense to me. Right. An idea foolish people came up with, not God, 342. And, of course, the same foolish people invented God. Something I'm glad I have no part of, 311. A sign of my obedience to God. 50 very stupid people said that. A sign of my obedience to God. I mean, talk about being subservient and a lemming and a suckling. That's just pathetic. Get a backbone, for crying out loud. Get a life. A law you better comply with or you'll burn in hell, 49. You'll burn in that lake of fire, but you'll discover it's not nearly as hot as South Florida in the summertime, which starts very soon. Something I, a religious person, violate all the time, 28. Well, you better get ready. Oh, hard for me to obey, 48. Something I, a religious person, violate all the time, 28. Something I do because I'm weak, 11. Now, there's the honest answer for those people who actually obey that crap. Let's have some pasty candy and pass the matzah, please. And, of course, let's have some more of that macaroni and cheese. And you know something? It wasn't even that good.
See there?
Not only do the machines suck at Woodbine, but the food in the cafeteria, their pizza's good, but I can't be eating that. Actually, I should have. A nice pizza with pepperoni, a little slice or two would have been much better than that macaroni and cheese. Boy, that just gives you agita. Something I do because I'm weak, 11, eat macaroni and cheese on Friday. Or wasn't also tuna fish was big on Friday, wasn't it?
Right, all the fish.
I mean, can't eat meat on Friday. Well, what is that?
They pulled it out of their ass like everything else.
They just make it up as they go along.
That's right. To keep you from doing what you want to do, because that's what it's all about.
Because you enjoy a nice dish.
That's
you enjoy your meat.
That's right.
So on Friday, you got to make a big sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
And certainly no sex on Friday unless you're going to make a bunch of babies for the Pope.
Because, God hates fun and pleasure.
Also, it's so unfair. I'm missing out on some good eats. 8 out of 1283. I bet you if I click that view current, I think by the top of the hour we're going to be like right on the verge of something, like a nervous breakdown, like 1300. 1285, Chris. See, I keep throwing your name in there like you care, is like it's a big deal for you, which it's not. Because you started out with really high hopes on this show, and now of course
he's just afraid of you and kissing your ass. He doesn't care.
I love the disappointment, kissing up, huh?
I said I love the poll.
I thought you said you love me. That would really gross me out,
I know Josh is your little boy, so.
I didn't know he was little. That's not what his girlfriend said.
Can you hear the fire alarm?
I'll open the door up. I'm gonna.
There it is.
That's a Chris alarm.
I'll go get the extinguisher.
Yeah, please. I got the extinguisher right here. Works every time. Now, what did you just say? Josh is my little boy?
Your little boy.
Yeah.
Your beau.
What does that mean?
He's your little play toy. And
boy toy, your favorite. Normally he's pink.
Yeah.
But right now he's beet red.
Now, have your attention, please. Listen, get back on a banana boat and go back wherever you came from. Probably South Korea, you idiot. This guy can't speak English. He can't speak 2 words of it. They got a couple of real hot young guys that work in maintenance in this building. Oh, geez, look, I'm closing that door again. God almighty, how long does this go on, for Christ's sake? God! Crazy people in this building. Yeah, they got a couple of really, and one of them is really friendly, too. I think he's, I don't know, some Asian kind of, they're all Asian. Well, we got a couple of Julios working here, too. Aren't you surprised by that? We don't have a lot of Julios in Toronto, but we got a couple of Julios.
Of course I'm not surprised by that. We're just getting around to Toronto now, Don't worry. They're on the list.
Wait till they show up in Mississauga, baby, and Oshawa and Kingston and Medicine Hat. The Largo city manager, now, before I get into this story, this is kind of amusing in a sick way. But speaking of sick, now I want you to retract that line you said about Josh is my little boy. That's
you, Chris.
That was one of the most grotesque things that's ever been said in the history of the human race.
I was just messing with you.
Josh is my little boy.
What would you prefer?
I've got news for you, man. He's a good kid, but I wouldn't touch him with your hand. How do you like that? Or tongue, or nose, or anything else.
Rectum.
Even ass to ass. The Largo city manager was fired after revealing his plans to have a sex change as applied for the city manager position in Sarasota. Steve said, when I worked at WSPB in Sarasota in 1973, 100 years ago, and I used to say that on the air, Sarasota, and Cliff Lanson, we used to call him Snooky Lanson, was the manager, and that used to get him so aggravated. And he'd come to the window of the control room and he'd look in there and give me like a dirty look. And I'd give him back a dirty look and he'd waddle away, Screw you, Snooky. I'm sure he's dead by now. Steve Stanton, 48, said he submitted his resume this week under his future female name, Susan A. Stanton, with an asterisk that the name change is pending. Well, starting Monday, I'm going to be Nellie Rogers. How do you like that? Can't be much more Nellie than I already am. I really hadn't anticipated applying for a city manager job so quickly, Stanton told the Sarasota Herald-Tribune, but the opportunity has availed itself, and so we'll see. We'll see. Sarasota commissioners will review about 15 resumes for the job next month. The following week, commissioners will narrow the group to 8 candidates. Those applicants will be interviewed by commissioners. If Stanton is among the final group, he said he'll interview as Susan. Susan, you better stop your cruising because you're going to be losing and you're going to get a bruising. But nevertheless, the Largo City Commission voted 5-2 in February, again in March, to fire Stanton from the $140,000 a year job he'd held for 14 years. Commissioners said it was Stanton's judgment, not the revelation he planned a sex change, that prompted the votes. It was his judgment. They don't mind the fact that he's going to change into a woman, you know. Just they think it's poor judgment. Well, whatever that means. 1,296 votes on the poll. We better get to 1,300 before the top of the hour. It's going to be. We're taking the feather right back out of Chris's
rectum.
Oh, you are just. I'll say one thing, man. He's sure growing a pair. He's saying things that are so just off the wall, so outrageous, so unacceptable, on just on a visceral level. Whatever.
You could have stopped it growing. He's growing.
Yeah, that's the problem. 1298, getting on my nerves is what he's doing. 1298 on the pool, and it's not. I don't think you think it's a good pool. I don't even know why I put it on there. I think it's
nothing wrong with it at all.
Pool. Huh?
Nothing wrong with it. We've never done it before.
I think it's on the weaker side. But we have 1298. We don't even have I hate this pool on there no more. But then again, we started this, about 100 years ago, something like that? So that means 1298. That means that everybody who's listening to QM now has voted 3 times.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
A Bahamian judge has just ruled in the paternity suit over Anna Nicole Smith's baby.
Anna Nicole Smith's former boyfriend, Larry Burkhead, is the biological father.
Let's get the important crap on here, right? The things that people ought to be caring about, like Anna Nicole and her big fat ass, and her baby, and Danielle, and whatever the hell her name is. Who cares?
Not me.
1303, we care about that on the poll. 1,303 vote on that poll. Wow, that is heavy duty. We're going to go over 1,500 again today. Of course, we started with 1,488, but nevertheless, pretty good, pretty impressive, wouldn't you say?
Okay.
No, you guys just don't care. Now,
no,
show up or what? That's all you care about.
No, I already ate this morning anyway, so that's all right.
You already ate
hey,
this?
You must be psychic. Here's the food, now that you mention it.
How do you like that? Now, the psychic powers again of the old queen.
Oh, God.
That's right. Now, what do you got? Howie's?
He's got Howie's, right. He's
got Howie's.
Tip of the man. Boy, he is a big tipper.
How much?
I think he gave him $5.
About 30, man.
30 cents. You gave the guy $5?
Yeah.
A schmuck like you, a schmendrick like you, gave the guy $5?
Well, he did order a lot of food.
That's I gave him 3 names and saying that Josh Cordes is my boy toy, whatever you said, like my little boy.
Mm-hmm.
That was disgusting.
Your love monkey.
Oh, Jesus, what a grotesque thought that is. I mean, he's a nice kid and everything else, but good golly, Miss Molly. Give me a little bit of credit, would you? Well, what do you know? You know from nothing. In fact, how's my good buddy, the Serbian stallion, doing? What are you laughing about?
That's a funny name.
His name is Steve, I guess is his real name, but he calls himself on the MySpace the Serbian Stallion. Man. And he's allegedly in South Africa somewhere. I better go on a surfing safari.
Be careful he doesn't ask you for money.
Is this thing still going on? Yeah, it's 11:02. What time did they start this? About 16 hours ago? This is the Chinese water torture. This is almost as bad as Woodbine. And then I had that damn macaroni and cheese. I'm never going to be the same again. 4 large bombs exploded across Baghdad yesterday. I don't even know why we talk about this anymore. All these dead people, we're so worried about what happened in Blacksburg, Virginia, which, of course, was tragic and grotesque and shouldn't have happened. And handled very, very badly, by the way, in spite of the way they're trying to cover up their ass. 4 large bombs in Baghdad yesterday killed at least 127 people, wounded scores, as violence climbed toward levels seen before the U.S. Iraqi campaign, before the surge, baby, before Surge Savard. Oh, there's more pictures. Oh, he's got the gun to his head there, Schmendrick. And now he's got a hammer. You see that one? He's got the hammer with a claw? Oh, brother.
Yeah, I saw it.
If I had a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
How's the hammer doing? In the deadliest of the attacks, a parked car bomb detonated in a crowd of workers at the Sadria market in central Baghdad, killing at least 82, wounding 94. It's hard work, man. Thank God it's not Trini Lopez. I get really upset. Now,
Trini Lopez.
Oh, there he is. I was confused him with Don Ho, who just died.
Oh, look at that roll.
Don Ho. There's nothing worse than nappy-headed Don Ho, is what Don Imus would say. Ooh, this man's in pain. Remember what Chris said Luis Miguel sounded like he was in pain? Yeah, I'd claw your eyes out with it, Trini. Among the dead were several construction workers who have been rebuilding. Every time I start talking, they start beeping that thing again. I think it's a commie pinko plot. I think that some terrorists, some lesbianese terrorists are behind it here. Wouldn't surprise me in the least bit. Well, sooner or later, I guess we got to get to it, okay? Virginia Tech stunned by the images of the gunman, that evildoer. Restaurant patrons cringed and mothers turned their children away from the TV as the video came up of an armed Cho Shwung Hui delivering a snarling, venomous tirade. You could hear the ventum about rich brats and their hedonistic needs. The self-made video and photos of Cho pointing guns as if he were imitating a movie poster were mailed to NBC on the morning of the Virginia Tech massacre. A Postal Service timestamp reads 9:01 a.m., which means that he mailed it between the two attacks. He took time, he cared enough to send his very best to NBC. This is it. This is where all ends, Cho says in one videotape, in which he appears to be more melancholy than angry. What a life it was. Some life. Some life. Bada bing. Yeah, what a crappy life. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do a Howard Beale and blow my brains out right on the radio. If they don't stop with that damn fire alarm. I think it finally went silent. Can you hear anything? I don't hear nothing.
Nothing. It's over.
If I want to open the door, it's going to start getting hotter than hell in here. Sun is shining. It's above like freezing finally. Spring has sprung, baby. All the snow is gone. The ice. Cho 23 speaks in a harsh monotone in other videotaped rants, but it isn't clear to whom he is speaking. He's speaking to whoever's watching it, I would think, wouldn't you?
Right, the audience.
You had 100 billion chances and ways to have avoided today, he says in one with a snarl on his lips. Rah! Like that. But you decided to spill my blood. You forced me into the corner, gave me only one option. The decision was yours. Now you've got blood on your hands that'll never wash off. Or maybe he was talking to your president, because he's got enough blood on his hands he could take like a bath in it for 100 years. NBC said the package contained a rambling and often incoherent 23-page written statement, 28 video clips, and 43 photos, which we're seeing over and over and over and over and over again until we got Cho coming out of our ass. On the Today Show this morning, host Meredith Vieira said the decision to air the information was not taken lightly. Some victims' relatives canceled their plans to speak with NBC because they were upset over the airing of the images, she said. In fact, what they should have done is gone into NBC and conducted a little bit of, the relatives probably runs in the family. Or the victim's relatives, I see. I saw his picture on TV, and when I did, I just got chills, said Christy Venning, a junior from Franklin County, Virginia. There are really no words. It shows he put so much thought into this, and I think it's sick. She thinks it's sick. It's like something you really have to think about for a long time. Like, let's see. You put your index finger to the side of your head. And let me think about that. Is it sick or what? What do you think? What's your take? The package helped explain one of the biggest mysteries about the massacre, where the gunman was and what he did during the 2-hour window between the first burst of gunfire at a high-rise dorm and the second attack at a classroom building. Your Mercedes wasn't enough, you brat, says Cho, a South Korean immigrant whose parents work at dry cleaners in suburban Washington. Your golden necklaces weren't enough, you snobs. Oh, there's more of that fire alarm. Beep. You hear that? Like a little beep. Just a little burst. Beep. Your trust funds wasn't enough. Well, that sounds illiterate to me. I mean, is this guy illiterate, 23, and he's going to university?
You, man, he went to college.
Your trust funds wasn't enough? Your vodka and cognac wasn't enough? Oh, it's beeping again. All your debaucheries weren't enough. Oh, my God, maybe they were doing a little hanky-spanky there, Virginia Tech. God forbid. Those weren't enough to fulfill your hedonistic needs. You had everything. What an idiot. What an a-hole. A dorm neighbor of the first two victims, Ryan Clark, 22, and Emily Hilscher, 19, described on ABC's Good Morning America what she saw that morning in Ambler Johnson Hall. I heard a really loud female voice scream, is what she said. A really loud female voice. I opened my door, and that's when I saw the building. There goes the fire alarm again. Beep, beep. I think this is going to be an all-day affair, which is going to drive me insane. I opened my door. That's when I saw the blood and the footprints, the sneaker prints leading in a trail from her room, Molly Donahue said. That's when she saw Clark, a resident assistant in the dorm, on the floor against the door. A friend later told her he was dead. Donahue said she has since tried to return to the dorm but felt physically ill and is still terrified. I got to the point where I can't be alone, she said. Authorities today disclosed that more than a year before the massacre, Cho had been accused of sending unwanted messages to 2 women and was taken to a psychiatric hospital on a magistrate's orders and pronounced a danger to himself, but released with orders to undergo outpatient treatment. Right. That always works really well, doesn't it? Here's a good example for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get some help and have a nice day. And go kill some people, and we'll talk about you in the media. A lot. The disclosure added to the rapidly growing list of warning signs that appeared well before the student opened fire. Among other things, Cho's twisted, violence-filled writings and sullen, vacant-eyed demeanor had disturbed professors and students so much that he was removed from un-English class and repeatedly urged to get counseling. Some of the pictures in the video package show him smiling. Others show him frowning and snarling, like a rabid dog. Some depict him brandishing 2 weapons at one time, one in each hand. He wears a khaki-color military-style vest, fingerless gloves, a black T-shirt, a backpack, and a backward black baseball cap. Well, that must be the rally cap. Another photo shows him swinging a hammer two-fisted. Another shows an angry-looking Cho holding a gun to his temple. Temple Bethel. That's where I was bar mitzvah, by the way, Temple Bethel.
How do you like that?
I think. In Rochester. That's where I had my bar mitzvah. Baruch atah Adonai, today I'm a fountain pen. It's all a bunch of crap. He refers to martyrs like Eric and Dylan, reference to the teenage killers in Columbine. NBC News President Steve Kappas said the package was sent by overnight delivery, but apparently had the wrong zip code, wasn't open until Wednesday. Oh, I hate when they do that. And they're still beeping that damn beeping thing. Jesus, God Almighty. An alert postal employee brought the package to NBC's attention after noticing the Blacksburg return address and a name similar to the words reportedly found scrawled in red ink on Cho's arm after the bloodbath. Ishmael Axe, NBC said. I think they got that backwards. Didn't it say Axe Ishmael?
I think you're right.
He said, ask him. Maybe he knows. Ask him. Ask him a question. Maybe he will give you an answer. Campus said the network notified the FBI around noon, but held off reporting on it at the FBI request so the Bureau could look at it first. NBC finally broke the story just before police announced the development at 4:30 p.m. It was clear Cho videotaped himself, Campus said, because he could be seen leaning in to shut off the camera. There's a picture of the Serbian stallion where he's got his shirt off, and he's got the camera. He's photographing himself, and it makes the big flash. He's flashing it. I wish he was. State Police spokeswoman Corinne Geller cautioned that while the package was mailed between the 2 shootings, police have not inspected the footage and yet to establish exactly when the images were made. Oh, this goes on. I could read this for hours, and I just might, Because
right.
Is there anything else going on in the world like all those dead people in Iraq? Of course not.
Well, you could take some calls.
Cho repeatedly suggests he was picked on. I'll just pretend I didn't hear anything you said, okay? just like Chris there with that crap about my little boy. That was so. And this beeping, this has been going on, I would say, 20 minutes easy, hasn't it? This could be the longest fire alarm in the history of the subhuman race. And I know they're just doing it to piss me off. Well, screw you guys. How do you like that, you idiots? Have a nice day, eh? Cho repeatedly suggests he was picked on or otherwise hurt. You have vandalized my heart, raped it in my soul, and torched my conscience, he says, apparently reading from his manifesto. You thought it was one pathetic boy's life you were extinguishing. Thanks to you, I die like Jesus Christ to inspire generations of the weak and defenseless people. Oh, building security is on there. Will you finally cut it short, okay? It's only been on for about 4 hours. Cut it short. Enough with the BS. Oh, there's a problem. They're calling technician because the thing won't stop. They started it and they can't stop.
Maybe they have our engineers.
A law enforcement official said Cho's letter also refers in the same sentence to President Bush and John Mark Carr, who falsely confessed last year to having killed child beauty queen JonBenet Ramsey. Yeah, whatever happened to John Mark Carr? We don't hear about her no more. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because the person was not authorized to speak to the media. Earlier Wednesday, authorities disclosed that in November and December of 2005, 2 women complained to campus police they had received calls and computer messages from Cho, but the women considered the messages annoying, not threatening, and need to press charges, Virginia Tech Police Chief Wendell Flincham said. Neither woman was among the victims in the massacre. After the second complaint about Cho's behavior, University obtained a temporary detention order and took Cho away because an acquaintance reported he might be suicidal. Police did not identify the acquaintance. On December 13, 2005, a magistrate ordered Cho to undergo an evaluation at Carillon St. Albans, a private psychiatric hospital. The magistrate signed the order after an initial evaluation found probable cause that he was a danger to himself or others as a result of mental illness. In other words, he was crazy, and that's why they let him out. When in doubt, let the crazy people out. So they can call the show, for example. They can call this Cho. Well, at least he never called, that we know. That's one good thing, isn't it?
That we know, although...
So they started this fire alarm thing, and what they just announced is that they've got some kind of a technical malfunction at the junction, and they can't shut it off. And they've got the technical people on the way to see if they can stop it before the end of the world-famous, legendary Neil Rogers show.
Packing? Yes. Real American a-holes. Real American a-holes. We salute you, Mr. Karaoke Host at the Neighborhood Bar Guy.
Mr. Karaoke Host at the Neighborhood Bar Guy.
You lug your crap around night after night, just so some drunken slob can butcher Piano Man. Your equipment is state-of-the-art. Your karaoke collection is the best. But you are 42 years old, and you still live with Mother.
Alan, bring me my tape.
You fancy yourself as an entertainer, but does it really take any talent to introduce Sue and Josh singing Margaritaville?
Where's the salt now?
Sure, your cushy gig means you meet a lot of chicks, but they all smell like hot wings and look like John Madden.
Ow!
So we salute you, Mr. Karaoke Host at the Neighborhood Bar Guy, your MySpace page, your 9-volt batteries, and your Post-it notes. You are a real American a-hole.
Okay, 11:18, and I'm sure you can hear it in the background. If you listen really carefully, well, I'm sure you can. It's still going on. They started the damn thing. What?
I can't stop.
What's so funny?
No, I was going...
Oh. No, the fire alarm. They started the damn thing.
I can't stop.
And, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. Sometimes you start and you just can't stop. It's like having wild diarrhea. 11:19 at 560 WQM, speaking of Joe Bells and wild diarrhea. I bet you he's had his share. He just looks like the kind of guy. He reminds me of the kind of guy that sits in there all day. And every now and then he'll get up and think, okay, it's all done. Oops, I guess not. Better make him move back in there, yeah? Now, that's the worst thing. The worst thing when you've got like that bad irritable bowel, like that bitch. And where was it yesterday? We had that story about the broad that had irritable bowel and she couldn't stand online. It was Monday we had the story.
Right, I forgot where it was. It was somewhere.
Cape Coral or somewhere over on the West Coast. Some Goyisher place over there on the West Coast of Florida. Excuse the redundancy there. Goyisher place, West Coast of Florida. It's all the same. All Goyam. Anyway, getting back to Cho, to the Neil Rogers Cho. Is that thing, see, every now and then it stops for like half a second, that fire alarm thing, and they give you like a false sense of, oh, finally, and then it starts up again. I think it's going to go on all day. In the multimedia manifesto sent by Cho Seung-hui, in between his killing spree at Virginia Tech, some have seen hints of a connection between the killer and a violent South Korean movie. Now, how long did you think it would take before we had connection between his behavior and what he did on Monday and movies and violent video games?
2 seconds?
All of these things.
That's right. Cho sent 28 video. Well, we know that thing. Since the release of the material late yesterday, a particular photo has prompted speculation, especially among online forums, that Cho may have been inspired by the 2003 movie Old Boy. That must have been about me, huh? How's it going, old boy? Hey, old man, how's it going? Boy, I tell you, that's not good. When they start calling you the old man. George has been calling me the old man for 15 years anyway.
Right.
So now I must be behind my back, of course.
You're the geezer.
The geezer. I remember the Beezer and now the geezer. Well, the Beezer, remember, he was a racist bastard, the Beezer. In the photo, the killer brandishes a hammer, the signature weapon of the protagonist in Old Boy, in a pose similar to the one from the film. You see that? All those films, man. Those films. The 2003 film directed by Chan-wook Park. That's Chan-wook, not what you were thinking. Won the Grand Prix prize at the Cannes Film Festival in 2004. The second of Park's Vengeance trilogy, the movie is about a man unjustly imprisoned for 15 years. After escaping, he goes on a rampage against his captor. In one scene, he dispatches over a dozen henchmen with the aid of a hammer. Oh, we got to play that again. Not the Trini Lopez one, though. Peter, Paul, and Harry. Speaking of Harry, I wonder what happened to my old friend Harry Potter. A lot of those old friends, man, have vanished. I stepped all over. Mary Travers, is she dead?
That's all right. I don't know.
I think she is. Paul Stuckey and Peter Yarrow. That was, well, boy, what a memory.
Wow.
Huh?
How do you like that?
Peter Yarrow, Paul Stuckey, and Mary Travers. Now, I think one of them is still alive.
Do you ever go to their concerts or anything?
Did I ever what?
Go to their concerts?
No, but I played their music on the radio for a long time.
They would teach us their music in music class when I was a little child.
Oh, isn't that sweet? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. And don't think twice, because it ain't nice, or whatever. It's don't think twice. You got that? Peter, Paul, and Sally? Don't think twice, it's all right. Another Bob Dylan song. Are you looking, or are you just stalling?
Looking.
Oh, he's stalling for time.
I'm over here.
1,327 votes, by the way. We're going to have, I say over 15 today. Easy. Easy, Chris.
Oh, I don't have Don't Think Twice.
You do like that, though, don't you?
Yes. I'll have
Written
to find
by Bob
it now.
Dylan. Just like, I bet you got Blowing in the Wind. The answer, my friend.
Yeah, I bet I do.
Ask for it, and you got it. Ask Ishmael.
How many roads must a man walk out?
About 30, man.
You know what goes good with this kind of music?
Booze. Yeah, that's right.
Campfire, somebody with a guitar, beer, and a bong.
Now let's see. What's the Peter, Paul, and Mary song that was like supposed to be a weed song? What was it?
Oh, please. How could you forget? You say it all the time. Ready? Here we go now. Everybody light them if you have them. Got it yet?
Oh, no, not Puff the Magic
Oh,
Dragoon.
yeah.
Puff the magic dragon.
Oh,
right after the show.
That's not a good sign. That means I'm an old boy. How's it going, old boy?
Tragic song. Why do people write songs?
Old boy. Don't let me forget to send Josh Cordes that check. You know, my, what is it again? My boy toy?
Your boy toy.
Your
no,
love
that's
monkey.
not what you said. You said something much worse, much more offensive than that.
I don't even remember.
My little boy.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That implied such grotesque, if it were true, if I had the hots for him, I'd be sure to tell you, but I don't. Now, JC that used to work there, that George forgot already with the hairy body, I had the hots for him all right. Good God. I would have turned him upside down, inside out, and given him an airplane spin. I would have, turned him all over the world, man, JC. He knew it, too. He's a good guy. The connection, and let's see, after escaping, he goes on a rampage against his captor. In one scene, he dispatches over a dozen henchmen with the aid of a hammer. Now, let me ask you this. Which is better? The way the show is so far, we've been on about an hour and a half. I haven't thought about taking a call. There's a whole bunch of them on there now. There's no chance. Which is better, that or, hi, Ron, Chamba, or, Prozac? Which is better? Or,
well,
George is gay.
Well, I'm a little biased there.
I know. You like those calls.
Mm-hmm.
The connection was spotted by Professor Paul Harris of Virginia Tech, who then alerted authorities according to London's Evening Standard. Speaking of Harris, I went to school with a kid named Ralph Harris at Canandaigua Academy, who was so good-looking, man. We'd sit in study hall, and I would just sit there and stare at him and have all kinds of sexual fantasies and thoughts. He's old and ugly, though, not like I am, although I was young and ugly back then. It's become commonplace for movies or music to be linked especially to violent killers. One blogger for the Huffington Post, filmmaker Bob Seska, dismissed the connection as the most ridiculous hypothesis yet about the Virginia Tech massacre. I would suggest he's probably
absolutely correct.
But what do I know? There was no apparent clear link between Cho and Old Boy beside the photograph. Cho killed with a handgun and a pistol, not a hammer. He didn't seem to reference the film in any of his notes or messages. In all, 33 people, including Cho, died in the Monday morning attacks. 1331 on our world-famous Neil Rogers poll, man. We are kicking, even though I'm the old boy, we're kicking big fat ass, okay? Now, are they finally closing that thing down, or is it just, it's still beeping on there? Oh, you know what that was? That was the beep on the fax machine.
Right.
See, there's so many beeps going on, I'm just becoming beeping crazy. Of course, a lot of people would say I already was, 1330. I want to share with the audience. And it's extra loud today, like my bacon this morning was extra crispy. I would make some more if I had any, but I ain't got no mo. That was really good today. Making bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Howie's makes good bacon, too. The only problem is every time that I would come there and do a show, they would send about 7,000 slices of it, And, of course, being the pig that I am, and bacon comes from a pig, so why not having a pig eating it? And I would just keep eating and eating. Remember that one time? Oh, man, I had talk about wild intestinal difficulties. I don't want to say diarrhea again because then Joyce will get all upset. Maybe Joyce will get diarrhea. Well, she's got diarrhea of the mouth and the brain, so why the hell not? Now, what is this? This was on Media Week today's faxes. Somebody from Bob. Thank you, Bob. Kitty Carlisle Hart. Oh, no, Kitty Carlisle died. Oh,
my God.
I bet your chicken neck is going to kill a chicken and nail it to the
sure
door.
He's wearing a black armband. He's
Actress and perennial game show panelist Kitty Carlisle Hart died yesterday at the age of 96 from above with pneumonia. I wonder if it was water pneumonia. will be honored by Cable Network Game Show Network an hour-long To Tell the Truth tribute on Sunday, April 22nd. GSN will air Carlisle's first appearance on To Tell the Truth from March 5th, 57 at 3 a.m. Oh, yeah, I'll get up 3 in the morning to watch that, followed by an episode featuring your son as one of the imposters at 3:30 in the morning. It says, love the show. This is from Bob. Listen every day on the Internet from Dallas. Thanks for doing an incredible show. No problem, Bob. When you're legendary, you can do an incredible show. And if I do say so myself, the callers suck the big one, okay?
Oh, my God, your breasts are beautiful.
Absolutely.
All around the world, people have hurled. You should blow a conscience and just call it quits and stop butchering the hits. Pick up all your hairdos and your little whiny boys and button up your face every place. Stop the fat talk and lose that pony hawk. That you are on stage, I feel like I've got road rage. You're loved by little ladies who wear mommy's makeup, but grown-ups in their cars and the bars across the nation cannot wait till you're done. You're an abomination.
Yes.
All around the world, you're trying to be everybody's good pal. You're more painful than a root canal.
You fairy.
Santa Claus, everyone knows. Santa songs, the world of charms. All around the world, people have heard. Never like a single song that you have sung. You're even worse than William Hung.
Oh, William Hung. He's not Korean now, is he? William Hung?
He might be.
I think he might be. I never watched that show under penalty of death. I have never watched 1 second of that show, I'm proud to say, which puts me like a little bit above, a cut above. How are we doing on that poll? We're gonna quit that poll. I just faxed Eric a new one because your close personal friend Brandon, for the second time he sent me this poll, and I said, I'll take it, I'll do it. And he said, well, go ahead and take it already. Don't start getting pushy, Brandon. Anyway, 1,345 votes on the poll, and that's plenty, don't you think? That's a good time to start a new one.
Right.
Want to hear the new one?
Okay.
I will, and this fits right in with Joyce and all of her bowel problems. I will use a public bathroom only if it's clean, only if it's empty, which I assume that means if there's nobody else around, yeah.
Okay.
Only for emergencies, anytime. I can only use my own bathroom, or I never go in public bathrooms. In other words, even an emergency. I'd rather do a June Allison, you know.
Oh.
I'd rather walk around with Depends on, huh?
All right.
Now, I don't want to get too indelicate because, number one, it's close to lunchtime, and number two, we can't get into excretory activity because Joyce will start having excretory activity, you know. She'll start having the Hershey squirts. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't say that. But at any rate, yeah, we've all had those experiences where, you know, you're starting to walk like, have you ever I can't go into it too deeply. But where nature was calling and you were close to wherever it was, where that magic room was, where you were heading desperately, and just as you started to get there, you know, it was like, oh, and you just stopped. You stopped walking, and you figure if you don't move, it'll work. And sometimes it does. And then again, sometimes it do not. Oh, boy. Actually, that happened to me a few weeks ago at Woodbine. I had Nature Was Calling, and they've got some magnificent toilets there. In fact, to me, the whole place is a gigantic toilet. That's what I should have done yesterday, you know what? To express my tremendous frustration, I should have just, because I tried 3 or 4 different machines, and they just weren't paying. You know, this is one of those days they're shut off in the coma. They're in the Terry Schiavo paying mode. And I should have just gotten up and pulled my pantaloonies down and done a giant number right there in the chair by the last machine I played for a very long time. Don't you think that would have been a capital idea?
Okay. Or minuscule.
Oh, there's pictures of Littleton, Colorado again, and Columbine. Columbine revisited. Yeah, let's go back and enjoy that again.
No, I'm watching a big boob chick dance in shiny clothes.
That's a hell of a lot better idea. Now, are we going to, let's see if Eric is going to get around to it. I see nothing to switch on. Is he in his little room? Because I just faxed him that, in the middle of the show. He probably isn't expecting it.
I'll tell him. Yeah, he's here.
You'll do what?
I'll tell him.
Tell him to change the damn poll, okay? Just like Brandon said, do it. Do the poll or whatever, and, and tell him change it. God. Change the poll, Eric. And Professor, change your underwear, too, with all this other talk going on, all this executory business going on. Everybody change it. And the good news is, you notice I opened the door? There's no more fire alarm. Hallelujah, folks.
All right.
I think if we get to 1350, I'm just going to cut this off. 1349, I'm looking where it says pull switches. You got the new pull? It's not going to take that long to type this one up, Eric, believe me. In fact, time's up. I don't want to be pushy or nothing like that. Those of you who are planning to go on vacation, especially across the pond this summer, I got some bad news for you. Thank you, Mr. President, for those low gas prices. And thank you for the strong American dollar, which is as weak as a 26-pound weakling, man. Dollar slides to a 26-year low against the British pound. Euro approaches a record high of 136.66. 666 are the last three numbers on that, on the euro. Or as they say, the euro. That's what they say in Netherlands. How come you didn't go to Amsterdam with me? Amsterdam.
Who?
Because you weren't invited.
Yeah, maybe, and I don't have any money.
I had enough other people to take with me on this last trip, okay? I had an entourage. I had 3 other people go.
That's
4
fine.
people. You know what it costs to go on business class and stay in 5-star hotels? Cost a pretty penny, baby. It's a damn good thing I'm making a lot of money, especially so I can take care of my little boy there, Josh Cordes. According to Chris. I got news for you, Chris. You're out of the will. You were never in it, but now you sealed your fate this morning.
Okay.
With one of the most intemperate. I guess what he's trying to do is make up for all the kissy, all that other, butt sucking he was doing there for a while. You remember those days, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, it was just the day before yesterday.
Was he really? I don't
No,
know.
it would have been a couple days ago because the day before yesterday I wasn't here.
Well, whatever it was. Kissy. Oh, thank you, Neil, for giving me this opportunity to make 4 cents an hour. Now, you're okay. You're a good guy.
Why, thank you.
We actually said nice things about you when you weren't there when Miguel was there. We said nice things about you. We don't like saying it to your face. We like talking behind your back. It's your specialty.
That's right.
It's his specialty du jour every day. Fag. What?
Huh?
I got news for you. If you're talking about who I'm talking about, he ain't no fag. I'll guarantee you that.
No, I was talking about you.
Oh, fat fag, you said. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's whispering. He's whispering just like Cho, man. He's whispering and he's acting like a loner. Like a crazed loner. Like that. If you see anybody sitting like in a corner somewhere all by themselves going and whispering, shoot them. Save a whole bunch of other people. The dollar extended...
George?
Yeah, go ahead. The dollar extended its slide Wednesday, hitting a 26-year low against the British pound and approaching an all-time low against the euro. On growing expectations, the interest rate differential between the U.S. and Europe will narrow soon. This is bad. 136.66. That's $1 and a turd and then some. The pound climbed as high as 201 and a turd, its loftiest level since 1981. After the minutes of the latest Bank of England meeting showed, Monetary Policy Committee voted 7-2 in favor of holding interest rates steady. They don't like the U.S. dollar anywhere, and it's unanimously so, said Dennis Gartman of the Gartman Letter. Simply put, the market is now convinced the future of the U.S. economy is one of relative weakness, while that of Europe is one of relative strength. I'm getting to Europe right now, man. I'm cashing in my chips, and I'm leaving right now. See ya. I'm on my way to Amsterdam. I'm going to go open up a hamster farm. I'm going to start growing some tulips, tulipin. Boy, the tulips really are beautiful. You know, have you ever flown over the tulip fields in Amsterdam? I guess.
Oh, yeah, just last week.
Outside the city especially, beautiful. Then you can go to the flower market there by Rembrandt Plain. Rembrandt. You got to roll your R's, man. Like Roken. I can't think of the name of that Mandarin restaurant. It's really not a good idea when you come on here to recommend a restaurant and you have no idea what the name of it is. But it's on Roken, which means smoking. And there's a lot of smoking going on in Amsterdam. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Man was there for a lot of good stuff. I could tell you, but it would not be a good idea. I think you got a general idea, though, don't you?
I do.
Oh, and there's the new poll. Thank you, Eric. You are a great American, or whatever the hell you are. We're going to get you deported, but you're a great guy. Fat. I will use a public bathroom only if it's clean. I'm certainly, well, you know something? Anytime. Anytime. I'm not one of these pansies. Well, I am a pansy, but I'm not that much of a pansy. These people will say, oh, I just can't go in a public restaurant. You get too nervous. Nervous about what? When you got to go, you got to go, Joyce.
And during this, it's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news. Abigail McGillen, an elderly woman, answered a knock at the door one day only to be confronted by a well-dressed young man carrying a vacuum cleaner. I'll say it again. The young man was carrying a vacuum cleaner. Good morning, said the man. If I could take a couple of moments of your time, I'd like to demonstrate the very latest in high-powered vacuum cleaners. Go away, said Abigail. I haven't got any money. And she proceeded to close the door. Quick as a flash, the young man wedged his foot in the door and pushed it wide open. Don't be too hasty, he said to Abigail. Not until you have at least seen my demonstration. With that, he emptied a bucket of horse manure onto her hallway carpet. If this vacuum cleaner does not remove all traces of horse manure from your carpet, madam, I will personally eat the remainder. Abigail stepped back and chuckled and said, well, I hope you've got a damn good appetite because they cut off my electricity this morning. Paul Harvey. Good day.
11:47, I love that. 13 till noon. Well, I bet you he didn't, but I love it. And this show we ought to dedicate to Jolly Joe Bell because it's mostly about manure. A lot of manure talk today.
I have no idea.
Here's the second poll. Now, the first one, I guess I better give you the result of the first one, previous. I just love the way Eric did this. Don't you find this very useful and fantastic?
Yes.
Attaboy, Eric. Huh?
Shown up.
No, the way you can view previous, because I forgot to print out the final result of the previous poll. And all you got to do is do a little click on our stats page there, and bada bing, just like magic. Yeah, like that. There it is. And maybe it'll print out one of these days when I find. There it goes. Can you hear it printing in the background? And it's got toner in it. It's got a new drum. Don't let me forget about that drum.
Hey, don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Because you're sure not going to, and I know they're not going to pay for it because it's about $250. I'll pay for it, no problem. Anything to keep the Neil Rogers show going and pristine and clean for the old queen. I will use a public bathroom anytime, 15. See, that's like me. That's what I voted. Now, how about you? Anytime?
Anytime. Only if I have to go. How's that?
In other words, not to hang out. That's good. That's
I'd rather not.
People that hang out in public rooms, man, very, very suspicious to me. Take it from this
there
old queen,
are two issues here. If one has to sit down, then I will move heaven and hell to avoid that.
Oh. In other words, serious business.
Well, yeah, because, people aren't tidy in the public restrooms. Let's just say.
You know something? What are you going to catch off a toilet seat, huh? Besides maybe leprosy or something
disgust.
minor like that. Dust?
Dust in the wind? Yeah.
Oh, have you got dust in the wind?
I don't want to plant my skin on anything that's wet.
30 votes on there so far in the new poll.
About 30, man.
I would use a public bathroom anytime, 15. Only for emergencies, 10. Only in other words, like, it's just no choice. Only if it's empty, too, if there's nobody around. Because I might actually make a sound. Only if it's clean, too. I can only use my own bathroom, one, and I never go in public bathrooms, nobody. Well, thank goodness for that. I mean, what kind of a lunatic would have that much? I mean, I only can use my own. There's one. I'm sure there'll be more than that. Because there are some people who have like a fetish about that. Now, I don't think there's any question. Oh, now there's 42 votes. It's zooming up there. But the comfort of one's own tea room, there's nothing to replace it. You know what I mean? It's just the comfort of your own bathroom. Right?
Right.
And you've got, especially if you live alone like I do, you've got the privacy, and you don't even have to shut the door. You just go in there, and you don't have to worry about making too much noise or too many malodorous, or whatever. It's just, you do your thing, and that's it. You hang loose. Oh, no, wait a minute. Look at that. 1,356 votes on the... Did I ever read it? Oh, I never read it. 44 votes on today's second poll and 1,356. And you know what that is? Add those two numbers together. 1,400. Oh! Could that happen again in a zillion years in a raccoon's age? I don't think so. 1,356 and 40 and 46. 1,402. Chris. See, we'd call Chris my little boy, but that would be ridiculous. He ain't anybody's little anything. You're okay, though. Don't take it personal. Don't start sulking now. There's nothing worse than having a guy in there that sulks,
No, I'm okay.
Like Marvin Rawman. They used to show up late for work every day. And then George liked them because I guess they had some deals with the Indians. I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah, that's what.
When a religion restricts you to certain foods on certain days or forbids you to eat them at all, that is crazy as Schmidt, 454. Crazy. Like anything with religion, just like this Cho guy. Oh, he's going to be just like Jesus, you know. They should have nailed his ass up on a cross and burned and fried his ass. Wouldn't that have been good? Fried Cho. An idea foolish people came up with, not God, 357, certainly not.
Oh, God!
I wouldn't come up with that kind of crap. Something I'm glad I have no part of, 338. A sign of my obedience to God, 53. Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Rub them rosary beads, man, until they're raw. Hard for me to obey, 53. A law you better comply with or you'll burn in hell, 51. You'll burn on that lake of fire, baby. Something I, a religious person, violate all the time. Look how many.
About 30, man.
30 people are religious, but they violate that prohibition. And you want to know why? Because they can't stop. They just can't stop, like Mo said. I can't stop. They finally stopped that damn fire alarm, though. Thank God. Oh. Something I do because I'm weak, 12. See, that's the correct answer for anybody that believes in that crap, that follows it. Weak. Weak. You haven't got a brain of your own. If you did have a brain of your own, you wouldn't be following all this religious hokey-pokey, hocus-pocus. So unfair, I'm missing out on some good eats. He's got only 8. No, you are missing out. I mean, who doesn't like a nice bacon cheeseburger, even on Pesach, huh? Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like a nice, big, juicy ribeye steak with the bone in? That big, extra big rib like they have at Ruth's Chris, you know? Nothing like a ribeye. On Friday or any other day that I'm in the mood for it. No jackass in a dress. No silly guy wearing a dress is going to tell me, oh, it's Friday, you can't eat meat today. Why not? Where does it say that? Can you tell me where it says in the Bible about not eating meat on Friday? Where does it say that?
It doesn't.
They just make it up as they go along.
Because Jesus died that day, so you're supposed to be bummed out that day, so you're not supposed to eat anything good.
He died only on what? On Good Friday?
That's what they say.
Well, what was good about it? Oh, that's right. He died so that he could forgive everybody's sins.
Well, you
Like all
Jews
your
killed him.
You
You
Jews. All you
Jews.
people doing sexual activities out there. Shame on you. What's wrong with you? Are you crazy or what? Or does it just feel good? What's wrong with you?
Both.
There you go. And of course, if you do it enough, it will make you crazy. I don't want to view the pre. This thing is now all screwed up. Not screwed up, but it's just I don't want to see the old. I just got through reading it. 68 votes on the tea room poll. See, this is not a bad deal. It means when you come in the morning tomorrow, you'll have a poll going already. You can either keep this one going, it's up to you. But at least you got something there. Or do you want me to change it?
No, whatever.
I'm here. Listen,
It's
I'm
good.
here at your beck and call.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'd like to know where that came from, too. Beck and call? You've heard that. I haven't got any idea what that
I don't know.
means.
Look that up. I think beck probably means the same thing as call. Like
Beck.
when you beckon someone, when you take your hand and you
David
say,
Beckham.
hey,
Did I
come
tell
over
you
here.
There's a naked picture of David Beckham on the internet, and boy, he is nasty. He's got tattoos all over him. He is very much Moosey-like in one respect, but I'm just, that does nothing for me. I just run in the other direction when I see somebody covered with tattoos. And then, of course, they got that Inked show on A&E. What's happened to A&E? Flip this house, I flip in the bird every time I turn on. I used to love A&E. Now I love the Biography Channel, which on my cable's right next to it. A&E used to have so many great programs on. Now it's like all punky stuff on there. Flip this house. Well, what is that? Flip this house. Flip Wilson this house. What does that mean? Flip this house.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
And they had
changed
Throwing
it.
Up
I
Gotti
didn't leave it on there.
I think that show is finally gone. Isn't it Throwing Up Gotti, I hope?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, my God. I told you I had her on my show one time on INZ.
What's her
100
Gotti?
years ago. Victoria.
Ooh, what a tacky
With those
broad.
two real Guido-ish kids of hers.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be too bad looking if they weren't Guidos, man. They got that Guido thing about them. Oh, Jesus. 68 votes on the poll. Why is it that Neil's always talking about these good-looking young guys? Because that's where my life is at. That's what it's all about. And I make no apologies for it, okay? If that, whatever, just like George has all got the hots for, what is her name now on the morning show?
Julie? Is that her name?
Julie. Yeah. How are you asking me when you played the Bobby Sherman record?
That's
Julie,
right.
Julie.
I don't have
Julie.
particular hots for her.
What'd you think?
I haven't met her yet. I mean, let's be
You
clear.
got the hots for any chick with a skirt on, okay? If she's got the right part, you got the hots.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Like
not
all you
particular
heterosexual
hearts.
guys, if they got the right part in the right place,
why
and
am
they
I
got the
explaining
right
it to you?
boobs in the right
The other guys
dimensions,
know. They understand.
in the fifth dimension. 76 votes on the public bathroom poll. There you go, Brandon. You asked and you got it. But I don't think that's one you want to keep up there all weekend. I'll find one that's really not very good. I mean, I'll find a really good one, and I'll send it along so you'll have something for tomorrow. And I'll take care of the stories and all that. Well, just because I'm taking off tomorrow, I don't want you to have to do any extra work. Man. Especially the way they treat you like garbage.
That's right.
I was thinking in the shower this morning, I was thinking of that day the phone rang and it was Greg Reed. Oh, congratulations on the great book, Neil. And by the way, I've decided to terminate George Rodriguez. That's exactly the way he said it.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. And I said, you what? That was after you sent me those emails of all those people who had written in the caustic emails to Mo, ripping him an ass. I read them on.
You were the last one to get
funny.
your copy, too, by the way.
They were all very amusing and very funny. They were making the rounds all over the building, and people were going, yeah, that Mo, everybody hates him like poison. And they did. And then, of course, he did the right thing. He backed off. After everybody in the building lied to me about, oh, no, Mo's not putting any pressure. Right. Just like the thing with Condoleezza, and just like the thing with everything, and with Zach Krantz, which Clarence, Clarence's nervous laugh yesterday when I put him on the spot about that before the show, which he better not come in here before the show again anytime soon. When he was sitting around there just waiting for me so he could go running back to Joe. Oh, Joe, here's what Neil said this morning. He's really upset about...
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever I shave my balls, I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
What are you, nuts? Up the butt. Roy. Up the butt. Now see here. Get up your butt, pal, and cut your hoist.
Up the butt. 1202 at 560. That's where those numbers have gone, man. Right up the old shoot. 100 votes on the new poll. I bet you Chris is really proud of that. He's wearing a... Now, what was for lunch today? Just bacon?
No, George didn't get anything. I have a ham and cheese croissant.
I know George didn't get anything. We're asking your fat ass.
Ham and cheese croissant.
A ham and cheese croissant.
Yeah.
That sounds so French, It sounds so... You know what it is? It's disgusting. It's fattening as hell. That bread, that croissant. Do you realize how much trans fats are in that?
Yeah, lots of butter. That's what makes it good.
That's right. Lots of trans fats in that croissant. Why couldn't you just get like a ham and cheese on rye?
Oh, I'll get that tomorrow.
Well, that's right.
Oh, no, tomorrow I'm not going to have that.
I beg your pardon?
I said I'll get that tomorrow, but we have a melting pot coming in tomorrow.
Well, why didn't anybody tell me about that? Why did we just discover this? What?
Duff told you were ignoring him. You were busy calling him a
I was ignoring him because he screwed me over on Pompano Park, and because Pompano's got the slots now, and we got no information whatsoever about it, and he, as usual, is running around at the Galleria talking crap with Moishi and everybody there about what a big shot he is, and he knows Neil Rogers. Yeah, Duff, you're silly.
You fairy.
You hear the conversation when he comes in there, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, it's just, verbal diarrhea. A lot of that going around. 100 votes on the poll today, speaking of that. A lot of toilet talk. We ought to probably play that turd talk thing. Can we still play that? I doubt it. Can we still play anything?
No.
Oh. But you know something? You'll notice it's already 12:03. Have I taken any calls yet today?
I have no life.
No. Am I going to take any calls before 2 o'clock?
No.
Absolutely not. In fact, I'm reaching over and shutting that stupid thing off. See, you know what just dawned on me, what I realized? Is that, have you got any idea? Of course, it requires a little bit more work, but, with the kind of money they're paying me, I might do like a few minutes work every day. Not a lot, not too much, but a few minutes. Do you have any idea on the Internet, for example, how much good stuff there is? Not to mention the stuff that are the more intelligent people in the audience send us every now and then. Useful crap. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that if I can't carry the show for 4 hours every day, ought to be out laying bricks somewhere. I ought to be out laying on the bricks. I'd be out sitting on a street corner. Spare some change, mister? How's it going, eh? Like that. And, it would seem to me that after a while, some of these beggars out here on the streets of Toronto would realize, after they've seen you for the 8 millionth time, that you're onto them, and that when you start quickening your pace as they start approaching you. That means you don't want to be bothered, and they don't have to spare some. In fact, there was one of them yesterday, kind of a bearded young punk guy, and and he like stopped in mid-sentence because he saw it was me, and he knew I wasn't even going to give him the time of day. I wasn't going to give him the time of day. If he would have paid me, I wouldn't have looked at my watch and given him the time. How do you like that? Not that I'm a hard-hearted, cheap bastard, because you know that. Because right after the show, I'm sending Josh Cordes a big, fat check. Big, fat one. Because he's bugging me for money now because his dog needs an operation. That's the kind of guy I am. I take care of the whole universe. No matter what George tells you, Chris, don't believe him.
So, Neil, my bank account needs an operation.
Yeah. You know what? Your brain needs an operation, a lobotomy. In fact, I'll tell you where they can start if they're looking for your brain.
Rectum.
That's where they'll find it, okay? Before this morning, I thought you were a good guy. I thought you were an ally, a friend. I thought you were a comrade in the fight against management. But you're just a
fellow fatty.
Another fat guy. And fat F. There's a word that goes after fat, begins
fart?
with an F. Yeah, fat fart. That's not bad.
I thought it was friend.
One. No, you're okay. You're all right. Just stay away from me.
No
Here's
problem.
the poll, and I know you will. Poll question, so will Josh, as a matter of fact, in spite of the check I'm going to send him. And, of course, you know, Josh is, I don't know what the big deal is with him. Why has everybody got the hots for him, especially these faggots? He's a nice kid. He's a great kid, huh? I beg your pardon?
I just want to make sure we're talking about the same Josh.
Josh Cordes.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Clarence Darrow?
I wasn't.
Somebody's got
You
the
brought
hots
that
for
up.
that? Holy moly, Rat.
Hey, eventually somebody will.
You must really be approaching the end of your existence on the planet. Good God. The thought of that. And that day that he came in there adjusting his package, as long as I live, that's another reason I don't want to do any shows in that studio. He wasn't just adjusting. He was manipulating and twisting, and even Chubby Checker never saw a twist like that. Even when he was on that famous New York station.
WABC!
Yeah.
To everywhere around, 7-7 on your dial, the great big groovy sound.
I remember those days when radio was worth owning.
Can't put it down.
Can't put it down, baby.
Round and around and up and down we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shaking to the greatest radio. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, baby, you'll agree. Don't you know it's WABC? 77 WABC, All American.
Oi. Those are the days, baby. Babaloo, Bob Lewis, and Puny Scott Muni, and Cousin Brucey, who's a real a-hole with that bad hairpiece, and all these other guys. Dan Ingram, did I mention him? No. A lot of dead people. Herb Oscar Anderson, hello again. Here's my best to you. Oh, he was so boring. He was so bad. See, one thing about the early days of radio, well, the golden days, not the early days. The golden days, there were a lot of people around there for like a long time. Like on television, too, like Dave Garroway and Arthur Godfrey. They were terrible, but they made millions of dollars because they were like pioneers, you know what I mean?
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? In other words, they were
I
the
do.
first to do what they were doing, which didn't mean
That's
they were
right.
good. They were just around a long time. Like Arnie Warren, for example, on WGBS. I bet you Ken Malden come in and tell you about Arnie and Imus. They were pretty famous for about 5 minutes. WGBS, remember that? 710 on Brickell Avenue. 710 on the dial. Now, what is 710 now? Radio Mambi?
I don't know.
No speaking English. It's like everything else in Dade County. No speaking English, baby. Bunch of old Julios sitting around listening to that Fidel, all that other same old tired crap, man. And we're tired of you old Julios, by the way. Go back where you came from. Go back. And Fidel looks like he's making a nice comeback. That's what Hugo Chavez said. He said Fidel's doing just fine, is what he said. Comunista, comunista, comunista. So I guess they have to, how do you undo like a party in the street? Do you have like a non-party, an un-party? Let's have a big un-party this weekend in the streets, like on Fagler Street and all over Sweetwater, too, in Hialeah. Even the people who live in Hialeah don't want to go there, you know? I don't blame them. I will use the public bathroom. Now, I'm sure, speaking of Hialeah, at Westland, if they can do the limbo rock there in Hialeah, they'll use the public restroom, especially at J.C. Penney, at the tea room there in Westland. I'm trying to think. Once upon a time I lived in Hialeah Lakes, next to the high school there.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
And so I guess I have been in Westland, but I can't think of the last time. Must be about 75, 80, 100 years ago. Is there really a mall? Is there a mall? I mean, in Toronto, it's downtown, the Eaton Center. I mean, there are plenty of other malls, but that's the mall, you know what I mean? Is there a mall in South Florida that you would say, and don't tell me the Sawgrass, please. I know it's a big tourist trap, and all the Brazilians go there and speak with a lisp Portuguese and stuff. But is there a mall that's really like a magnet?
I don't know. I don't understand the question. Like a magnet, like the mall? The mall?
Right. That's what did I just get you saying?
I would
Chris?
say the Aventura.
Or Dadeland.
Yeesh. I would say the Aventura.
Dadeland? Are you kidding me? That's in Kendall, for Christ's sake.
I know. That's where he lives. He lives way down there.
You still live in Kendall?
Way down yonder, Beyondo.
I used to live on 107th Avenue there.
He lived by Metro
Zoo. Between Sunset and Kendall Drive. Back when there were like 5 people left who spoke English. I was one of them, though. I lived in...
I know about 3 now.
I beg your pardon? I was in Four Quarters Habitat. You know where that is?
No.
Oh. And then I was in Horizons, which was down the street a little bit. And then I bought a townhouse in Towngate, right on the corner there. You don't know where these places are? Maybe they're not even there anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And then, of course, there was, speaking of the melting pot, there was the original Kendall one there on Sunset, and...
That's still there.
Yeah, I know it's still there. And there was also in that same, I think in the same strip shopping center, there used to be a Tacos Olé, was it, or Taco Viva, with that nice squeezed cheese. Was that Taco Viva?
Okay, yeah.
Or Taco Olé?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember the existence of Taco Olé. I don't think I ever went in one.
I think it was Taco Viva with that squeezed cheese they put on the burritos. Man, it was good. Oh, so much better than Taco Schmaco Bell. Although I like Taco Bell. And also in that same strip shopping center on the other side was the original Godfathers, which was a sponsor when I was in W Snooze. And the only reason I'll never forget that place, first of all, the food was so damn good. That was good stuff, boy. That Godfathers. It wasn't like Chicago style, like Uno's and things like that. In fact, we did have Uno's, but because people in South Florida, their tastes and their tush, Uno's didn't last too long. My Pie and Uno's, remember those?
Mm-hmm.
But that Godfathers, and I keep telling you about Javier, who was the young guy. He was about like 24, 23, old enough. And he was like the member of the family that came to the station to seal the deal, so to speak. And then they all went to jail for a while. A bunch of them did. But boy, I'll never forget Javier, man. He was a fine young gentleman. Oh, Javier. In fact, when I went in there, I'd order my pizza with Javier on it, but it just never worked out. God almighty. I'll tell you, some of your people, man, some of your people look pretty good to me. Those are the ones I like.
I understand.
Of course, some of anybody's people, the ones that look good, those are the ones I like. I don't really care who's... See, I'm not one of those that ask about their... I don't ask a lot of questions. I'm not interested in your family tree. I don't want to hear about your ancestry, where they came from, how long they lived there, your mama. I don't care about any of that. If you look good and you're ready to rock and roll, all right. That's my... And don't you think that's a healthy attitude? You bet.
All right.
I'm glad I answered it. I don't really care what you think. 12 minutes past noon at QAM. Let's talk some sports. Not.
America loves to watch boobs and butts and boinking.
Well, my name is Gary Condit, and I am living my worst fear. 'Cause I banged one of my interns, and then she went and disappeared. Oh, Chandra, they weren't surprised when I finally told the cops I lied. And I was humping Chandra, humping her instead of my wife.
All right.
Humping Chandra, humping Chandra. 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 Humping Chandra, yeah. And I've lied about more.
12:18 at 560. How's Chandra doing? You won't see her no more. And how's Gary Conduit doing? We don't hear anything about him at all, do we? Gary's Conduit. At any rate, I'm just going to let it all hang out here this afternoon. I'm going to just rip Joe Bell an ass that he deserves. And I'm going to just tell you right now, from now on, from this moment forward, I'm laying the gauntlet down, whatever that means. What does that mean?
Are you serious?
From medieval times?
Yeah. When you challenge somebody, you throw your glove down.
I know what it means. It's like Boku, man. You're going to start explaining to me stuff that you know that
That's
you know
why
that
I said,
know.
do you really want to know?
You want to make me sound like a doddering old fool because you're trying to get the show.
That's a setup.
You're trying to get the show. That's why you talk
I'm just not going to
back.
answer any question you ask. Just wait.
Oh, man, but I'll get to that in a second. First, here's some good news, I think. The Florida Senate early today approved its version of a property tax relief package that rolls back city and county taxes while providing extra tax breaks for the first-time home buyers and business owners. And you know what? Nobody still wants to live there if they got a brain. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You know, the one great thing about coming back this last time, or any time now, since I'm here most of the time, from Amsterdam or Berlin or anywhere I'm visiting, You know the best part of it?
What?
Is that I'm not coming back to South Florida. I'm coming back here to a civilized place, a great city with real people, and the sun is shining. And it may not be like, boiling in the shade 180 degrees with 400% humidity, but it's just fine, eh? The vote sets the stage for the House and Senate to immediately begin working out their differences over how to address a brewing property tax crisis that led hundreds of homeowners from across the state to protest outside the Capitol earlier this week. This plan benefits every single property owner in the state, said Senate Majority Leader Dan Webster, Republican of Winter Garden. I think it's pretty awesome, he said. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I know somebody who's awesome. I know a few awesome people. You know who one of them is?
Who?
Serbian Stallion. I better spend the rest of the day on his web page, his profile page. What are you laughing about? I'm going to tell you what. During the next break, or maybe later on, I don't have time to fart with it during the show. We got a show I'm pretending to do. Mm-hmm. Later on, I'll email you the pictures.
All right.
And then you'll tell me on Monday whether or not you think he's a fine,
All right.
specimen. Because at least with you don't have to give me, I don't know. I mean, I just can't deal with that. You show me a real man, and a real man will have an opinion about what anything or anybody looks like. How can you not have an opinion?
I'll humor you if it comes up.
What do you mean you'll humor me?
I'll generate an opinion if it comes up. Otherwise, you don't really give it a thought.
Oh, in other words, I'll just you'll have an opinion.
All right.
The House plan passed yesterday calls for a major cut in local government property taxes, would let voters decide if they want to eliminate property taxes in exchange for an increase in the state's 6% sales tax. Yeah, let's make it 100%. That'll be good for tourism. Let's make the sales tax 100%. So if an item is like $12.95, it'll cost you $26. The House plan could ultimately lead to a 2.5-cent increase in the sales tax, making it the highest state-mandated sales tax in the entire U.S., But House leaders are predicting homeowners could ultimately save $35 billion over the next 5 years. The Senate, which unanimously rejected the House package, calls for a more modest property tax rollback, but would let voters decide whether first-time homeowners should get an additional $25,000 homestead exemption for a total of $50,000, and businesses should get a $25,000 tangible personal property exemption. A Senate portability plan, porta-potty plan. How about, would anybody out there go in a porta-potty unless you're working on a construction site?
Oh,
my God.
Don't touch anything except for the soles of your shoes.
You know what they have in the streets? Have I ever told you this? I'm sure you've probably read about it.
What was that?
Speaking of porta-potties, they have porta-pee places.
Yeah, I have heard that.
They have 4 sides to them. They're like square little things out in, I'm not going to say like in the middle of the main streets, but like on, around town. And they have urinals, and they go down to holes in the ground, and the guys, if they're out there, and of course a lot of boozing going on there, a lot of boozing, baby. And nature is calling, and so guys take a leak in these urinal places, right out there in the middle of. And of course, if you're really clever and you stand around, you can kind of catch a peek every now and then. If they back up real slow. Anyway, a Senate portability plan would also allow long-time homeowners to sell their homes and move to a new house without a major tax hit. Tax savings have been estimated at $11 billion. The House and Senate will now start negotiating their differences in hopes of reaching a tax relief agreement by their scheduled May 4th adjournment, but some people doubt that can be easily accomplished and could force a special legislative session, just like there always seems to have to be to get anything done, because it's a mugwump state with a mugwump legislature and a mugwump fag governor and mostly mugwump residents, especially on the West Coast. So there you go. 161 votes on our second poll. There you go, Brandon. You wanted it, you got it. The toilet poll. It's right up your alley. Okay, now speaking of right up your alley, let me just say this. And I know, all kidding aside, you believe me, all kidding aside, when I say that?
No.
Of course not, because you know better by now, after all these 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you, I am, as of this moment, as of today, because I feel pretty good. Actually, physically, when I got up this morning, for the first time, I really felt like an old man.
Good.
Aches and... Good?
Good.
What does that mean, good? What a bastard, man. Chris is giving me, Josh Gordon is my little boy, and you're giving me good that I woke up feeling like an old man.
I'm just joshing you.
No, you're not. Man, talk about dancing on my grave. Even Sammy Davis would be embarrassed.
It's all that fat that's making you feel that way, because you put on all that weight.
189. I'm 189. That's not so bad. For me, that's pretty damn good, although I'm still a fat slob.
Well, ignore me. Continue with your story.
No, but let me just finish. So and like I started, it's not a story.
Okay.
I just woke up feeling aches and pains. You know how old people have arthritis?
Right.
And now I feel fine.
Good.
And to me, I sound pretty damn good today. I
sound great.
I sound as good as I have in 20 years.
You sound as pink as Chris looks.
Don't start with the pink stuff, okay?
He's
I don't
the
want to get
pinkest
into
person
that.
you've ever seen.
Yeah, I've seen pink.
I doubt it.
Want to bet? You just don't know what. Well, at any rate, don't lead me there, okay? Don't lead me down the pink road. You're so full of crap. Anyway, how about purple haze? What was I saying before? You just keep interrupting.
You feel old.
I can't get this out. Oh, okay. The fact of the matter is, as of today, and you notice I don't even have the damn monitor on, and maybe I'll take calls again, and maybe I won't. I'll do whatever the hell I want to do because we haven't got, and you know this for a fact.
Oh yeah.
We haven't got anybody in management at any level in that building, including the predecessors in that building, who have a clue about talk radio. They haven't got any idea of what this show is all about, what it takes to do this show, what I need, what you need. They haven't got any idea. So when some fat idiot is running around going, oh, ho, 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 we need those tapes. The audience wants to hear Neil's voice. Ho, 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 like that. I know I'm dealing with a real bozo, okay? He may be a nice guy, but what he knows, you could stick it about this business and about what we do. You could stick it in a thimble and have room for the damn Chinese army left over. And that's not just a saying, okay? That's the freaking truth. You'd have to squeeze him in there pretty tight, but I think it would work. He knows nothing. And that's exactly what he's contributed to this show. And for this guy to be sending me an email while I'm in Amsterdam on vacation, sending me an email on my Yahoo, giving me a song to dance about, well, you guys are back up in midday in the trend, ho, 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 and the march ought to be really gigantic. Based on what? Based on what? Based on what you've done, that George has got to beg to get a toner cartridge for the damn machine that's been sitting there that I paid for out of my own pocket for months and months and months and months and months. Based on that we get that kind of input and output and then cooperation, that we get nothing. Based on the fact that you're willing to sit back on your fat ass along with your partner in crime, Joyce, and Clarence there, and let a half a dozen idiots hijack the phone on the show? That's not going to happen, because I'm not going to let it happen. See, the reason I've survived 31 years plus whatever it's been a few days in this market is because I'm a survivor, baby. I know what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. Say whatever you want, okay? Whatever the hell you want, but I'm a man of...
Action!
That's right. Action at Jackson, baby. That's what we got right now. Speaking of people that talk behind your back. And see, he's not the kind of guy that'll ever come to you to your face and say, oh, gee, it's so much better when you take the calls, Neil, when you're ripping those idiots, like that. He'll say that around the building behind my back, and then it'll get back to me, you know. I don't give a crap what he says. He's not doing this show. This show. You know what I'm be saying?
Jess.
I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, and I'm going to do just fine, okay? And we'll still have bigger numbers than the horseball sports segments that we got on the station, because sports talk, like I've been telling you for many, many months, look, when something is dying, man, you can smell it. The smell of death is in the air. Remember those days when you were, like, choking and gagging, you thought it was the tar on the roof? It's the smell of death at QAM.
Neil, this is Randy West, and as per our phone conversation, I talked to Peter North the other day. He tells me your real name is Neil Down. And he still ain't interested.
Who sounds like a moron?
It's time.
Every time he speaks,
It's the way God wants it to be.
Wants to take a city and cover it in sweets. Ray Nagin can.
Ray Nagin can?
Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can, 'cause he wants to make New Orleans taste good.
And I don't care what people are saying.
Sounds like Jesse Jackson.
We as black people.
His comments are bizarre.
Surely God is mad.
He compares the locals to a Willy Wonka bar.
Chocolate.
Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can? Yes, Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can, 'cause he wants to make New Orleans taste good.
It's time for us to come together. It's time for us to rebuild a New Orleans, the one that should be uptown or wherever they are. This city will be chocolate, a chocolate New Orleans.
He never takes the blame for anything he says.
Chocolate at the end of the day.
Put that chocolate in some coffee and you'll off Juan Valdez. Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can.
You know I can.
Ray Nagin can, 'cause he wants to make New Orleans taste good.
You can't have New Orleans no other way. It wouldn't be New Orleans.
It wouldn't be New Orleans unless it was chocolate. Talk about a racist, obnoxious comment. And then, of course, they rewarded him for his incompetence and stupidity by voting him back in again. Nice going, you idiots in New Orleans. What did I tell you about that place? It was a horrible place before Katrina and before all this other chazarai, and it's still a horrible place, only worse now. And what did I also tell you about the movie Southern Comfort? That was all about Louisiana.
Cayenne
Dumb.
Good movie, though.
It's a great movie. In fact, you know something? I'm going to go out and get it.
All right.
And the movie, too. Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, a real criminal, a real Nazi bastardo, faced heated questions from Republican Senator Arlen Magic Bullet Specter as the Senate Judiciary Committee began a hearing today over firings of 8 U.S. attorneys last year. The Pennsylvania senator focused on Gonzales' contention that he limited involvement in the firings. I bet you got Speedy Gonzales by Pat Boone. I hope not.
Probably.
You think?
I know I do.
Speedy Gonzales. And as a matter of fact, isn't that to the same tune as that Alien Gonzales thing?
I think so.
Alien.
I think that's where he got it.
Yeah. That's it. I'll get back to this.
Sounds like the bit, but it's not.
What?
This sounds just like the Book of Brian bit, but it's not.
What do you mean?
I walked alone.
Oh, you did that.
Yeah. Well, where do you think it came from?
I thought this was what I was playing.
Oh, there's Pat Boone.
Yeah.
Did
Fired it
he
off.
sing or what, huh? But he sure looked good.
There it is.
He was a right-wing jackass. Oh, yeah, you're right. The Book of Brian, but so much better. As usually is the case. Just like the Mo and Gelly. So much better than the originals. Here we go. Hey, hey.
You better come home, Speedy Gonzales.
Oh, how bad is
Away
that?
from Tannery Road.
Speedy Gonzales. What a glory.
Stop all of your drinking.
You hear the way he said that?
With that
Yeah.
Lucy named Flo.
That enough?
That's more than enough. He was sure pretty, though, for about 5 minutes, Pat Boone. The Pennsylvania senator focused on Gonzales' contention that he had limited involvement in the firing. Specter went through a list of meetings Gonzales attended where the topic was discussed, then asked, "You think it's honest to say that you only had limited involvement? You bastard, you?" Gonzales later replied it was limited involvement, and he said the discussions of U.S. attorneys such as Carol Lamb from Southern California were only part of his job as U.S. attorney. She was one of those who lost her job. He said any talks about Lamb with senior staff stemmed from complaints he had received about her performance. Specter pressed Gonzales on earlier statements concerning the extent of his involvement in the firings. "I'm asking you, do you prepare for your press conference?" Specter said. "Were you prepared when you said you weren't involved in any deliberations?" "Senator, I've already conceded I misspoke at that press conference," Gonzales replied. "There was nothing intentional." Right. Later, the unctuous Nazi Senator Sam Brownback, Republican of Kansas, a real card-carrying fascist, asked Gonzales to concisely run down the reasons for the dismissal of each of the prosecutors. The Attorney General listed reasons from office management and morale for the handling of the death penalty case as he went through the instances. Early in his opening statement, Gonzales apologized to the 8 fired prosecutors and their families, saying they deserve better from me in the Department of Justice, which they served for many, many years. Absolutely correct, sir. As far as Alberto is concerned, overall, only 28% of Americans view him favorably, and a third have an unfavorable view. That's Alberto VO5 Gonzales. Little Nazi bastardo and liar and treacherous and dangerous. He ought to be in federal prison right now, along course with his partners in crime.
Right, the lot of them.
The whole lot. And Trent Lott. Get him back. Give the pom-pom back and put him back in there, too. Just for old time's sake. Can't get you off the hook, pal, even for old time's sake. That's a great scene. Can you get me off the hook, Tom? For old time's sake. Can't do it, Sal. He is so cool, Robert Duvall, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what role he plays in, if there's one actor in the last 50 years I would describe as cool, it would be him. Am I right, or will you give me a big argument about that?
No, I'm thinking about arguing, but so far not.
Well, good. Good choice, if you want to be in that will. Let's see, here's the pool.
I'll be able to get some new dentures when that money comes in.
Oh, hey, that's the one good thing. I still got all my teeth.
Right.
Which is not good because that means a lot of trips to the dentist. You know, I flossed yesterday. Well, why did I floss? Where did I see
I don't know.
that?
Maybe you were
Oh,
bored.
you know that show that they were had on the weekend with Dr. Sanjay Gupta about eating like 2 lettuce leaves a day and living 500 years?
Okay.
One of the things they mentioned, and I keep hearing about that a lot, because gum health, haven't I told you that keeping your gums healthy has got a lot to do with heart health?
Mm-hmm.
I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's true. And so they said that flossing every day is good for you. And I flossed yesterday, and then I woke up this morning feeling like 400 years old. I don't know if I want to do that again. Do you floss your teeth?
No, I have big gaps between my teeth, so I don't have to.
You have big gaps between your teeth?
Huge,
I never
giant
noticed that.
gaps. I know. I never
Why is
smile.
that?
It's just the way my teeth are. I have gappy teeth, and so I don't smile a lot because of it, and I don't floss.
Oh, I thought you didn't smile a lot because of your wife's situation and where you work.
Well, that too.
Oh. I would use a public bathroom, 194 votes on this. Only for emergencies, 108. Wow, that's passed everything. It's passed like a gas. Like they were standing still. Only for emergencies, 108. That's interesting. Anytime, 56. Yeah, you got to go, you got to go. What are you so uptight about, okay? Only if it's clean, 20. Only if it's clean. I'll go in and inspect. And if there's like any schmutz anywhere, I'm running out of there. I'm having the runs. Reminds me of that Vinny's. Isn't that amazing? I can remember the name of that restaurant. I never can think of it. That goes to show you how all of a sudden I'm making a big comeback today. I don't know what it's all about. I think that's because you're doing the show tomorrow. I'm getting the hell out of here. I think that might have something. I doubt it, though. Or maybe it's because I just had such a great time in Amsterdam, you think?
Maybe.
Vinny's. Remember I told you about the sliding toilet seat? Oh, yeah, there's that kid again from Virginia Tech, the one that Zach Petkowitz. He's not the real good-looking one, but he looks kind of human, considering it's Virginia Tech. Only if it's clean, 20. Only if it's empty, 4. I never go in public restrooms, 3. And I can only use my own bat room, 3. 199. You do realize that there are people who can't even pee in a public restroom.
I didn't realize that. Let me think about feeling sorry for them.
Well, no, it's not something they choose. It's just it's a phobia. They just can't get the dribble going, man.
Yeah. Get over it, nutbag. That's my comment to them and their phobias.
That sounds awfully insensitive to me, but I think you have a good point.
Too bad.
Let me say it again. See, he won't even let me agree with him. That's how ornery and surly he is. Who the hell wants to agree with you? But I would agree, you know. Get over it is right. Just do your business and get on with life and quit being such a wuss. Oh, there's that Cho guy again. He's got that angry look. The UK, the public will look at themselves and their gun-toting friends in the face, think how about they view gun control in the U.S., says Robert from the UK. That's right, Robert. You got a good point there. But how come you're so freaking constipated, you silly Brit?
Neil God.
Michael Eisner.
2 rings, Eisner. It took you 2 rings to answer. What are you doing over there?
I'm sorry, sir. I just couldn't reach the phone quickly
I couldn't
enough.
reach the phone. 1 ring, Eisner. We've been over this.
I'm sorry, sir.
Get on the ball over there.
Okay.
What are you all hung over out with your mighty dicks?
Who, sir?
The hockey kids.
Oh, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Oh, what a successful story that's been.
Whatever. Sell it.
Sell it? What?
Sell that team. They're terrible.
Sir, they're in the Stanley Cup Finals.
What does that mean?
Well, they're in the championship of the national...
Save it. I'm not into sports anyway. I'm more of a porn mouse.
Porn mouse?
Forget about the Ducks. It's a stupid name anyway. Who came up with it?
Well, I did, sir. Remember we had that movie?
It's terrible. And I see you hanging out with that straight brim on your hat. You look like a moron next to Charlie Sheen.
No. That was Emilio Estevez, the star of the Mighty Ducks.
It's the same kid. Terrible.
The Mighty Ducks, I mean, they really are entertaining. It's a great family value.
I don't care about the dick.
What?
Hang on a minute.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. What the hell is wrong with you, Remus?
I'm not feeling well, boss.
Oh, you're almost white.
Yeah, I'm pale, boss. Oh, had some bad Chinese.
Some bad Chinese?
Yeah, met her downtown, boss. Ling.
Ling's a panda.
Whatever, boss. I've got to go.
Oh, get away from me. You stink like a brewery. My good God. Come on, Eisner.
Yes, sir. Well, things are going very well over here. You know, we have the Mighty Ducks in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Terrible. Sell them.
And we also have the Finding Nemo movie, which is doing very well.
Finding Nemo. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Why do I have a check for $4 million on my desk and the thing made $70 million? What kind of deal do we have with Pixar?
Well, we sort of...
Remus!
Oh, I'm not...
Did you do it?
I think I pooped myself, boss.
You pooped yourself? Remus! Get out of the office, will you?
My, oh, my.
My, oh, my is
a horrible day.
Oh, I need a stick up in here. Eisner?
Yes, sir?
Repeat after me. I am
an
idiot.
An idiot.
Goodbye, Eisner.
Okay, well, sir, would you like tickets for the Mighty Ducks?
I told you to sell the dicks.
Ducks?
Change the name of that thing anyway.
Well, change the name?
Yeah, if we gotta keep it, make it the Mises.
The Mises? What are mises?
Mises, more than one mouse.
Isn't that just mice?
Are you correcting me?
No, sir.
Get us out of here, you stink!
I can't even walk, boss.
I always like Mighty Mouse a lot better than Mickey Mouse anyway. 1247, 13 to 1 at 560 WQM. Does anybody remember Mighty Mouse?
Sure. Want to hear his tunes?
Oh, sure. His tunes? You mean there was like more than one?
I don't know. The one that I know of.
Here I come to save the day.
Gay.
That means that Mighty Mouse is on the
Now, Mighty Mouse had like a yellow outfit with a red cape, right?
Okay.
No?
Maybe, yeah, that sounds right.
Well, you could Google it, and I'm sure there would be a picture of Mighty Mouse there. I'm sure not going to make the effort to do that.
All right. I got the situation well in hand right now.
Yeah, I bet you do. 218 votes on the poll. Let's get back to our important stuff. Oh, this is depressing. It's just as easy to purchase guns in Florida as Virginia, as both are among the most lenient states when it comes to limiting the sale of firearms. Gun control advocates said yesterday in the wake of the murderous rampage at Virginia Tech. Indeed, buying guns can be easier in Florida because it has no restriction on the number of weapons that can be bought at one time. Well, I'll take a whole bunch.
About 30, man.
Yeah, give me 30 guns. Give me a couple of Uzis and a couple of 45s and a couple of 22s and a couple of 357 Magnums. Give me a Magnum of Meisterbrow. Making it a popular shopping location for gun traffickers, said Zach Ragborn, spokesman for the Brady campaign to prevent gun violence. That's, by the way, Jim Brady, not Tom Brady or even Brady Quinn. Virginia, on the other hand, permits only one gun to be purchased within a 30-day period. Florida has laws on its books that we find very troubling, Ragborn said. They make it much more difficult for the state to have gun control. I wonder what your governor thinks about that. He probably likes a nice piece. Anyway, Ragborn's group gives Florida an F+ on its gun control report card compared to a C- for Virginia. An F+. I give Florida an F-. Still, Virginia's laws are considered overly lax by some because it has no waiting period for gun sales, although it does require a background check that uses a nationwide database. Florida requires a 3-day wait in background checks and allows counties to extend that to 5 days as Dade County is done. Likely none of these restrictions would have stopped Virginia Tech student Cho Shwung Hui from killing 32 people and himself Monday. The reason the gun purchases were made long before the shooting attacks began. He had plans. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Cho bought a Glock 9mm and a box of ammo for $571 from a gun store in Roanoke, Virginia, a horrible place, 5 weeks ago. He is thought to have purchased a Walther .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol in February. Both transactions appear to be legal in the good old USA. In any case, the worst on-campus bloodbath in American history has restarted the national debate on gun control, with some arguing that more people equipped with firearms on the Virginia Tech grounds might have cut short Cho's killing rampage. Oh, yeah, the right-wing gun nuts. If everybody would have just been armed, they'd have shot his ass right. Oh. If there had been armed people on campus when he walked into the first classroom, maybe 4 or 5 people would have shot at him. It would be over, Nick Lipschultz, owner of PAR Firearms and Supplies in West Palm Beach, said. Nice going, Nick, you nut job. Lipschultz, who said he sells hundreds of guns each year to law-abiding people, said criminals will gain access to firearms no matter how many gun control laws are imposed. I've never seen a bad guy in my store, he said. Criminals buy guns on the streets. They don't obey laws, so passing more laws is not the answer. Gun control advocates disagree. John Vernick, co-director of the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Policy and Research in Baltimore, said nationwide there are almost 30,000 gun-related deaths per year, or about 80 per day. 80 a day. Florida's got almost 2,000 gun-related deaths per year, or on an average of more than 5 a day, according to the National Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. It's a disease, all right. It's called gun sickness. Obsessed with guns and shooting and killing and maiming and wounding and destroying lives. And yes, we should be talking about ways to prevent mass shootings like this, Vernick said, but we should also be talking about ways to stop all other gun deaths every day. What an excellent point. What a concept. We're going to be doing that?
No.
No. Vernick said the real problem is with unregulated gun sales generally made in private transactions or in the black market. In those cases, states have no way to conduct background checks. It's estimated that about 40% of all gun transactions in the U.S. are through private sales, so that's just a gaping loophole in gun sale laws, he said. While some states' gun laws are loose, others are stringent, such as those in New Jersey and Maryland. He said New Jersey requires an arduous background check to obtain a gun license, and Maryland's got a 7-day waiting period. Meanwhile, a Florida House committee quashed a bill yesterday that would have forced businesses to allow employees to keep guns locked in their cars in company parking lots. The NRA backed the bill. Oh, well, if the NRA backed it, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, whatever you want. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Because the NRA runs America, and you people know that. Bunch of crazed gun nuts. Although Representative Baxter Troutman, Republican of Winter Haven, asked that a vote be postponed and led to the tragedy on Monday, the House Environmental and Natural Resources Council defeated the bill 10-4. Part of your job is to vote on difficult issues, and sometimes that's hard to avoid, said Representative Stan Mayfield, Republican of Vero Beach, who voted against the legislation. Oh, they defeated it 10-4. The bill has failed for 2 consecutive years in Florida. See, that story didn't make any sense the way I read it, and you know what? Too bad. I'm under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. I don't know why, but I'll come up with an idea. 231 votes on our toilet poll. I mean, I just don't, I mean, when you go into a store, for example, you go into like convenience stores don't have toilets, but fast food joints do. So if you're like
convenience
on a
stores
highway,
do.
What?
Convenience stores do.
Get out of here.
One of the convenience
stores have toilets?
It'd be a very inconvenient store if it didn't have one, let me tell you.
Maybe for the help, but not for like the customers.
All right.
You've seen a convenience store like you float 'em? Maybe that's why they named it that.
Yeah.
You float 'em.
Well, I mean, they're one and the same with gas stations anymore.
Oh, I see.
They have come together.
If they have a gas station, a lot of convenience
even if they
stores
don't
have gas stations. 7-Eleven, most of them don't have a gas station.
Even if they don't,
most of them don't.
Even if they don't.
Well, I think that's important news to know.
Yeah.
Like on NBC, they always say, the more you know, and then they come on with some stupid fact like, 2 is more than 1. The more you know. Aren't we smart at NBC? Yeah. Keith Oberman really pisses me off. I don't want to get back on that Imus thing again, but the more I think about it, it just frosts my ass. Then that idiot they called here yesterday gave me, Imus is a racist off the air. You know what? He's entitled to be as racist as he wants to be. This whole politically bull crap, this hypocritical bunch of garbage. Who wrote the really good article? Ted Rall that I read toward the end of the show.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Leave it to Ted, baby. He knows his crap. Where's that article by Robert? Oh, yeah, wait till you hear this one. Wait till you hear this, which I'll save for after the break. U.S. evangelicals aim to influence European law. I got news for you, all you Farbissa and Goyim out there. You're whistling down the old Dixie Highway, man. You're dreaming. You're whistling past the graveyard. There's another good expression. What does that mean? Whistling past the graveyard.
I don't know.
Is that like farting in a windstorm? I guess.
Maybe. We could speculate.
You ever fart in a windstorm? That's something to try. It ought to be a lot of fun.
I'm pretty sure, because I've been in some windstorms.
In the shower, certainly. Oh, there Neil goes talking about farting again. I bet you Joe's not too happy about that. He's probably on the way to one of his lunches, Anybody that can keep an ass that big, keep that size, maintain it. It's got to be eating several lunches every day. One thing about Joe Bell, Jolly Joe, man, he's all ass. Just ask me, I'll tell you. 242 votes on our second poll, which means, what do we have on the first one, Chris? 1356. And what? 242. Boy, if we had two
almost
more
1,600.
votes. What is it?
Yeah, almost 1,600.
5098. Holy moly, rat man. Let me click that baby again. 243, 5099. The next vote will be 1,600, and we still got an hour to go on this horseball show. How do you like that? That will be monumental. The next person who votes on this poll, what do we need? Oh, we got 245 now. We're over. 1601. Even Chris, even as hostile as he is today for whatever reason, woke up on the wrong sides of bed.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Is that what it is? You'll be okay tomorrow. That's because I'm not going to be here. George will be here.
Come to 2 hours.
That's Yankee Nazis for the station. Is out to get our ratings filled. A lawyer for a corporation of deadbeats that don't pay their bills. Oy vey, she took the parts away. That Joyce bitch, that stinking nasty bitch.
Absolutely.
Like Heather Wilson, uncorrupted. Clueless 30 words are. Claims to be an attorney, but did she stopped to drink or pass the bar? Oy vey, she tells us what to say. That Joyce bitch, that rotten, smelly bitch. She's unqualified. Don't know crap from radio. On a mission from Christ to murder the Neil Rogers Show. I saw her swinging with her husband. a Fort Myers swing club. On the pool table she's able to take them all on one by one.
Oh my God.
Oi, babe, just send that bitch away. That choice bitch, that stinking skanky bitch.
We hate you, Joyce. And by the way, I just figured out it's a trifecta, man. The evil trifecta. You know how the asses of evil that your president was talking about once upon a time? The asses of evil. We got our own asses of evil, a Triple J Club. Jolly Joe, Joyce, and Josh Darrow.
How do you like that?
How do you like that? Is right. And the answer is I don't.
The triad.
The evil triad, baby. See, I have to say Josh Darrow, because if I say just Josh, they'll say, oh, he's picking on Josh Cordes now, just because, you know. I wouldn't do that. He's my, what is he, my little boy?
Your love monkey.
261 votes on the new poll, which means it got way over 1,600 today. I mean, we cheated, of course. We not only had two polls, but the first one we started, 6 months ago or something like that? But that's okay. Maybe there ought to be an investigation. I don't know what it is, but I feel so much better not having even wasted one phone call. Did I take one early on? I don't think so, did I?
I don't think you did.
I'm very positive I did not.
If you did, I forgot.
Well, most of them are pretty forgettable. Anyway, let's get to this very sad news. And, of course, it's almost laughable having just come back from Amsterdam and from, places, and even here, like where civilized people generally seem to rule, and the religious nuts, there are some of them around, but generally speaking, they're given the old raspberry. Erlangen, Germany. For the past 2 months, the Busekros family has been fighting a court battle to regain custody of their 15-year-old daughter, Melissa. German police took her from her home here and placed her in a psychiatric ward. The reason, she was being homeschooled, which violates Germany's compulsory education law. I think that's a fine idea. Melissa's plight has struck a chord with U.S. evangelicals who often see homeschooling as a way to instill Christian values, a.k.a. brainwashing with nonsense, with chazarai. American evangelical groups have rushed to the family's aid, providing legal counsel and lobbying the German parliament. Many American Christians have reached out to the Busekros family, who now have 2 wicker baskets stuffed with hundreds of letters from supporters. 2 wicker baskets. Isn't that exciting? It reminds us that we're not alone, that there are people standing behind us and giving us the strength to fight, said Melissa's mother, Gudrun. The Busekros case is emblematic of the growing effort by U.S. Goyim, Christian legal organizations, to take the so-called culture war overseas. Pushing back against a perceived assault on their values by an increasingly secular society, thank God, the groups are striving to influence European law on issues ranging from homeschooling to stem cell research to gay marriage, of course. A few recent examples include these. In Britain, the Alliance Defense Fund, the ADF, an organization founded by American evangelical leaders, is funding a lawsuit brought in by a Christian man who was fired for refusing to work on Sunday. It's also helping to develop a legal strategy in the case. In Sweden, ADF played a key role in persuading the Supreme Court there to dismiss charges against Åke Green. I wonder if he's kin to Åke Berg, who used to play for the Leafs. Stunk. Dismissed charges against Åke Green. A pastor was convicted of hate crime charges after he delivered a sermon in which he called gays a deep cancerous tumor in the entire society. In Sweden, no less. In Aruba and the Czech Republic, Pat Robertson's legal organization, the American Center for Law and Justice, ACLJ, helped defeat bills that would have legalized same-sex unions. In France, in your pants, ACLJ affiliate, the European Center for Law and Justice, is staging a legal challenge against an anti-sect law that says it's being used to clamp down on evangelical Christian churches, and on the European Union level, ECLJ is lobbying to block funding for embryonic stem cell research. So it's not bad enough that the God Squad, the lunatics, the maniacs, the Flat Earth Society, it's not bad enough that they're poisoning the air in America and creating more brainwashed lunatics. That's not bad enough. Now they want to export it to Europe. And you know what most of the Europeans are going to tell them? You know what they're going to say?
What?
Coxahoys. That's what they're going to say. And, of course, the Goyim, not understanding Yiddish, they're going to say, oh, thank you, have a nice day, or whatever they're going to. Who knows what they're going to say. Pathetic. Just pathetic. See, that's one good thing. Except in New York City, most Goyim don't understand too much Yiddish unless they listen to the legendary Neil Rogers show. That's why this is a tremendous service that we provide here, speaking Yiddish on the radio in South Florida, where all the old Jews are probably dead now anyway, or moved to Boca. And they hate me like poison in the first place. Now, what's that all about? That used to be my audience. And then, of course, I started picking on them because of their aberrant, grotesque, unacceptable behavior and the whole early bird mentality and the fact that they were like opening up their neighbor's mail and doing grotesque, unacceptable things and screaming about their neighbor's grandkids coming visiting, but if their own grandkids came and visited and tore the condo apart, it was okay. Stuff like that. All of these things. And then they decided I was a bad guy. Now I'm an old fart, and guess what? I'm not like them. I still am not like that. I'm never going to be like that. If I thought I was going to be one of those condo commando types, I'd pull a cho right now. I'd go out and kill a bunch of people and blow my brains out.
Would you be a condom commando?
I'd be a condo commando. That's correct. Or a condom commando. 271 votes on our second poll of the day. I would use a public bathroom only for emergencies, winning way ahead of everybody else, 143. Why is that? Why does it have to be? See, I don't understand emergency. I mean, I know a real emergency, you know what I mean? I mean, there's having to go, and then there's like, no holding back now. Like Cornelius' brothers and sister Rose said, it's too late to turn back now.
Uh-oh.
You got that?
You know it.
Do you? I think you've played it in the past. That's a good song. I'd say about 1972, 71, 72. There it is. A medley of their smash Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. It wasn't like a bunch of brothers. It was just... That was
72.
Oh, that's what I said in the first place, 72. And then I covered my ass by saying 71, 73, 70, give or take 15 or 20 years. What a nice talk. Not too tight. Sometimes too tight is not good.
Nappy-headed old.
That's right. Well, they're not too tight.
How do you know?
I will only use I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to go there. Then you're going to start playing music by Pink again. I will use a public bathroom only for emergencies, 143. Anytime, 84. Anytime is obviously the answer for sane people. I mean, you got to go. Just go on in there and have a good time. That's all. Tidy up a little bit. Don't leave a big mess behind. Calm when the party starts. That sucks. I would use a public bathroom only if it's clean, 29. That's right. If you go in there, it's like, oh, my God. And if you walk in the door and it smells like a toilet in there, I'd run right out. You ever gone into a public bathroom and you say, oh, man, it smells like crap in here?
I'm not surprised.
Only if it's clean. And I have done that. And I think to myself, well, where are you, you moron, you silly old fag? I would use the public bathroom only if it's clean, 31. Only if it's empty, 8. If there's nobody else around, I'll sneak in there and do my business and race right out. I never go in public bathrooms, 4. And I will only use my own bathroom, 3 out of 278. I'm telling you, there's a lot of, not a lot. What percentage we got? About 2.5% that are very picky about where they're going to do their business. And I still say, no matter what anybody would tell me, using your own tea room at the house is so much preferable. Like, for example, there, in that radio station. Now, that's a place that nobody, in their right mind, you know what? And, of course, you go there every morning. At least once, sometimes 2, 3, 15, 20 times. Am I right?
Right.
I was never crazy about it. Obviously, there were times when nature was calling, especially with all the damn food that we used to eat there all the time. But it's just not good.
Hey, the Love Monkey himself is here.
And who's that? Oh,
your little boy. Your little boy.
Little boy is there. Let me say this to you, okay? This afternoon at 2 o'clock, I'm going to sit down and write you out a check, put it in the mail. Now, what's the story with your dog? What kind of operation does he need, or just make that up?
He's got a swollen salivary gland in his neck. No, I didn't make that up.
He's got a swollen salivary gland?
Yeah. You think I'd make that up? By the way, I'm not wrong, right? I didn't write that to be like, give me a check. You read, I said, if I'm wrong, correct me.
Well, are you like on like a regular schedule?
Well, usually I get one every 3 months.
Yeah.
So you've got it spoiled.
Whenever I feel like it. I think what happened is, Josh heard I mentioned yesterday I got my IRS tax refund check.
That's what it was.
No, I missed that, actually.
Yeah,
have you been trashing me today? Because I haven't been able to listen.
No,
I just
I'm
walk
not. In fact,
everybody starts laughing when I walk in.
Chris called you my little boy.
All right, I'm leaving.
Well, I don't blame you. In fact, I am too.
Yeah, but George called you his love monkey.
Yeah, and George has been saying all these grotesque things. And why, I have no idea. I think they're jealous. I think they're getting... And I did you a favor, by the way. There was another one of those phony profiles on MySpace that had your picture on it. I deleted it yesterday. Or blocked it or did something with it. I just made it vanish. Well, what is that all about? Why do all these guys keep using your picture on their phony profile?
Maybe they want to get in your will.
Josh? Was he gone?
Well,
no,
he's not by Mike.
I don't know. What can I say? Should I be flattered?
They want to be you, is that it?
Yeah, I got a pretty good life, you know.
Maybe they want a piece of that Russian girlfriend you got.
Hey,
yeah, I
online.
bet on that. I bet
Dibs.
Yeah. That
I already called it.
I mean, with all due respect, I don't think they really want to be you. That's not a shot. I mean, there would be nothing wrong with being you, but I wouldn't mind being you because I'd be like 41 years younger. Oh, God, if I had 41 more years and knew what I know now. You know, that's what everybody always says. If I was only 20 again and knew what that, But, of course, it doesn't work that way. Because when you're 20, you think you know everything and you really don't know much of anything. And then, of course, years later you find out, oh, geez, if I'd only done this and done that and done this one and whatever. But you're doing okay. So I'll take care of that today. You don't have to be bashful, okay? If you want some of that IRS money, it's all in the bank already.
No, some of that Reverend money.
That's right. I'll send you a nice...
All right, so
nice
just put another 0 in that case, then.
I just got a really good idea. How about putting all zeros? Yeah, how about that? You know, there's a little expression. There's a game show that used to be on called Press Your Luck. And that's what I think you're doing right now. I wouldn't push my luck, okay? So I'll take care of you. And so is this a serious thing, your dog's operation, or is this like... kind of routine?
You know, he's not, like, his life isn't in danger, but...
well,
like
that's what I'm talking about.
I had to take it to get drained twice, and the guy was...
Oh, geez, you shouldn't have said that.
The guy was like, he's like, you can keep coming back here every month.
You had to get it drained twice? Oh,
But
that guy that's got the hots for you out there, he's probably getting emotional hearing you say that.
The only way to get rid of it is to have a little surgery, so, you know.
Yeah. And how much is the surgery?
$1,200.
Oh, no problem. I'll cover it.
Well, just if you send me your check, I got it, man. I got that.
I'll cover it.
Dude, you're very nice. Thank you.
Well, what's wrong with that? That just goes to show you what kind of a great guy I am.
A mensch for all seasons.
That is right. I'll take care of it. I can handle it. Now, and what's your story? What did you say? Something about your gland is swollen or something?
My story?
No, I'm talking to Josh still. I said his gland was swollen. All right,
it always is.
What?
Look at
I
that.
said it's 114 at
Is that a pup
560
tent?
WQM. Get out of here if you want. If you value that check, it's almost written now, man. It is written. Remember it says in the good book, it is written. Somewhere it says that.
You get a lot of big parts with Neil Rogers on Sports Hole Radio WQAM.
Who is this man you have brought before me?
His name is Jesus. He says he's king of the Jews.
Step forward, Mr. Jesus, king of the Jews. Oh, look what you've done. You've got your chocolate in my peanut butter. What have you say for yourself?
You, my son, have got your peanut butter in my chocolate.
For this you shall be crucified.
A man that punishes another man without tasting his errors is a man who reacts with haste.
Well, then, allow me to... Hey, well, this is quite good.
And mine is of great deliciousness as well.
I think we're on to something here. The delicious taste of chocolate and peanut butter.
Two great tastes that taste great together. She's peanut butter cups.
119, man, I can't stand peanut butter and candy. I cannot stand it. It makes me want to caca. I just can't deal with it.
Caca.
Yeah, like Reese's peanut butter cup. You know what I do like, and I don't see them anywhere anymore? Oh, let's not get started on candy again.
Please.
Mallow cups.
Yeah.
Aren't
They're
those
around.
great?
Yeah.
They are? Get out
Yeah,
of here.
unfortunately.
Not here, they're not.
Good.
Mallow cups, they got that nice creamy marshmallow inside, real hard chocolate on the outside, and then they got that nice marshmallow on the inside. Mmm. Now that would be good to like heat up in the nuke it a little bit, you know? Get all the chocolate melted into that marshmallow. And then like put that on some Rocky Road ice cream, 2 or 3 of them. Wouldn't that be good?
That would be.
Nauseating. Now, why can't we do these things? See, if Dr. Gupta is such a freaking expert there on CNN, which he makes me want to puke, why doesn't he tell us how we can do these things without getting fat and diabetic and really sick and dying and really enjoy it? Because, you know, there's some people, they can take it or leave it when it comes to food, you know. Yeah, not too many people, but there's some like that. Can't stand those people. Oh, I'm just not a food person, you know. Kind of people you have to almost force to eat, like Karen Carpenter, that kind of thing. And then there are the rest of us who are basically gluttonous, who if, I could probably eat a gallon of ice cream at a sitting. If I weren't inhibited by my diabetes and the fact that it would probably give me a stroke and kill me, I could probably do it. I'm just admitting it, okay? It takes a big man, really big, maybe as big as the Hunter. How much ice cream do you think he could pack away? I don't know. I mean, the only time I ever had dinner with Hank, I think, was at Pompano Park one time. I believe. I mean, there may have been other occasions, but I think that's the only one I can remember. And I don't recall him being a dessert guy. I think he's more like a meat and potatoes kind of guy. A lot of it, you know what I mean? Like a lot of meat and a lot of potatoes and a lot of maybe like pasta. Basta la pasta, baby. It's bad for diabetics. Basta la pasta. That's another good reason not to become diabetic. A little lecture from Grandma Neil on the air right here now. Don't do it. Can you imagine giving up pasta and pizza? And what about Chris there? You're going to be diabetic if you don't cut the crap.
He might be already.
Are you?
No.
How do you know that? Do you know what your blood sugar is?
Because when I went to the doctor, he didn't say I was diabetic or close to it.
Did he take your blood sugar? Did they do blood tests?
Correct.
And what's your blood sugar?
I don't remember. That was
this is what bothers me about America, boys and girls. This is one of the million things that bothers the living crap out of me. Now, ordinarily you're a guy your age. What are you, about 30-ish?
31.
31. Ordinarily, a guy 31 wouldn't probably worry about going to the doctor and getting a blood test for his blood sugar and all these other things. But in your case, having been gigantic, I mean fat, for a long time, and now still being fairly, I would say, hefty. Would that be a good way to put it? By the way, wasn't that nice of me to cover that thing for Josh Gordon?
That was very nice of you.
Yeah. And you know I'm going to do it.
Of course.
I'm going to put the extra couple hundred in there so I can cover. Well, it's not so much for him, it's for his little dog,
Not so little dog.
What if it was for his cat?
If it was for his cat, I would tear the check up right now. I haven't even written it yet. I'd throw my checkbook out the window if it was for a cat. Do you think that I would help a guy spend money for a cat? In addition to which, what kind of a guy would he be if he had a cat? How about a good Kit Kat?
Mm-hmm.
We got a good bit on that, but we can't play it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It's called, What Would You Do for a Schmidt Cat?
Mm-hmm.
It's still in there, as a matter of fact. Oh, there's those Shirley Q liquor bits I never play. And you want to know why?
They're long and not that
Because they're
good.
not funny. Oh, well, wait a minute. Here's, I don't think I can find that Schmidt cat.
Really?
Although I do have
you
that.
took it out.
What's the name of that thing? Seen floating above the suds in the bath. Right on. What's important to a man?
Yeah, well, we don't want to hear what's important to this man. Anyway, 305 votes on the poll. So you add 305, you got 1661. You know what we're going to get? We're going to get 1,700 today. And I will guarantee, even though we're doing it like kind of half-assed, we're cheating a little bit, a little creative arithmetic here. What's wrong with that? I think we're permitted, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Sure you are.
We just made that up. I just made it up. And like I said before, since I'm the one that's making the rules up on the show, not Jolly Joe Bell, or certainly that jackass Clarence who says to George, couldn't you talk some sports on the air when you're doing the show? I know you wouldn't make something like that up, but I still find it hard to believe he said
that was a
that.
long time ago.
What, about 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Now, how long ago was that?
Years. That was when I was still doing the show with Joe.
And he said to you that you should be talking sports.
Not in those words. When we were discussing what I do talk about, he said, but not sports.
Don't talk about religion because that offends a lot of people.
But not sports.
Sports certainly would be offensive to
not
people
sports.
hearing about the 285-pound linebacker from West Punxsutawney State who's got a big bulbous growth on his nose, or whatever the hell that's all about. See, what they don't realize is that, so the NFL draft's coming up on what is it, Saturday the 28th, whatever the hell it is?
Correct.
Once that's over with, nobody cares anymore because it's a long way to Tipperary. Isn't that where Bush was speaking today at some Punxsutawney, Tipperary, some horseball place? And they're all sitting there, oh, Mr. President, you're such a murderer and whatever. Pathetic. That's America for you, man. Bunch of lemmings. 26 past 1. We're going to start talking sports on this show.
Not.
I'll tell you that right now. The day that we start talking sports on this show will be over my dead body, over my ashes in a shoebox.
Speaking of sports, your boy Doug McClain got fired.
In Columbus, it's funny because the Rim Man, did I tell you, Rimmer called here a couple of weeks ago?
No, you didn't.
Well, maybe that's why I was a little bit down there for a few days. I think it was the day before I went away on vacation, and wouldn't you know it, he could spoil a wet dream, that guy. Anything. He could just screw it up. And, well, Doug's going to find out if, Doug McClain got fired in Columbus, which means they're going to pay him off. But, boy, he sure did. Did they make the playoffs?
No.
Did they stink? Yes. Yeah, let's get some more old guys like Sergei Fedorov in here. Don't start with that hockey talk. I actually had a guy on the MySpace thing earlier today send me a question about the Panthers and the Luongo trade and all that, and I gave him an answer. I answered him. See, one thing about me, and by the way, welcome back, Mike from FSU. There's a good kid. Boy, the work that I did for him, man, this is the kind of guy that I am. I don't want to pat myself on the back and, do a lot of self-aggrandizement, but I'll do it anyway. Because Mike is going to go to study in London for like 6 weeks. For 6 weeks. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
Do you care about this or not?
No.
In May. And of course, I told him, well, you're going to be in London, you got to go to Amsterdam. That's one of his lifelong ambitions. If you were a 20-year-old college student, would you want to take a buddy and go to Amsterdam?
You bet.
Yeah. And so I did a lot of research for him, finding cheap hotels and ways to get there. And I worked my brains out. He knows I didn't. But I did a little bit of homework for him and sent him some good advice. And he's back on there today. Hey, Mike, you're okay, kiddo. He's from Cooper City, by the way. You know Mike from FSU. You better. What's wrong with you? You're starting to get familiar with all of our paisans out there, all 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, sure. I'll pretend to know who you're talking about.
Right.
I'm saying that to be kind because you will never, ever, ever have a career in singing.
He happens to be the biggest idol chump. His hair is worse than Donald Trump's Sanjay.
What a chump.
Sanjay.
He's just a misunderstood little boy.
He's still on the show, is it luck? But that's so wrong because he sucks, Sanjay.
You suck!
Sanjay.
He's terrible.
Sanjay.
He's a highly intelligent sociopath who has no fear of dying.
I know. Maybe he's just acting stupid to infiltrate a gang of international idiots.
Well, he blows chunks, and I gotta admit that if he wins, then Simon will quit, Sanjay.
He's just an idiot.
Sanjay.
I hate you!
He's irritating and a media whore. His voice sounds like nails on a chalkboard, Sanjay.
I hate that guy.
Sanjay.
Hideous. It was just weird.
So he can't dance and he can't sing. Look at his head, what is that thing, Sanjay?
I hate that guy.
Sanjay.
I'm beginning to hate that guy.
Sanjay.
Aren't you that guy everybody hates?
Yeah, that's me. 133, 2702. We got Mad Dog coming up at 2. The Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together, 4 to 5. Now, have you missed any calls today? Do you think that we needed any help? I don't think so. I think the show was magnificent.
We could go through them real quick.
I'm going to grade myself on the show today. I'll give us an A+. Us, including even Josh Cordes, who came in for humiliation and degradation. Oh, and I forgot to congratulate him on dropping his cell phone on the toilet. Maybe I should deduct the cost of the cell phone from that $1,200.
I think you got it for free anyway, so it's all right.
You think I should add on the cost of a new one?
No, I think it's a company phone anyway.
Oh, well, in that case, congratulations, Josh. He's all right. He's a good kid. I don't have any, emotional feelings, even though he loves me like crazy. Remember that one I told you he tried to stick his tongue down my pants and my throat? 326 votes on the poll. Now, what does that give us here? 326 and what? Oh, see, I don't have the right... oh, boy, that's not good. Oh, here we go. 1356 and 326. And the people are saying, what is he adding? 1682. Oh, we got 1,700 licked, man. Chris is really... He's going to be flexing his muscles now. He's going to be running around there. We got over 1,700 because I was running the show today. Is that what you're going to be saying?
Yeah. I'm going to go to Josh and try and get a raise for this one.
Yeah. Josh Darrow.
Yeah, Darrow.
One of the evil triad, the J people. Not the Jew people, the J people. What Jew people think, anyway? We got Josh Darrow and Jolly Joe Bell, and then we got Joyce. Ooh, God, I can smell. Speaking of the smell in a toilet, I can smell her all the way up here. You know it's coming from down there, from Naples, from Napoli. Naples is not one of those places I really want to go in Italy. I still want to. I guess someday maybe Venezia, although that stinks too with those canals. But I hear Sorrento is really beautiful. I've never been. I'd like to come back to Sorrento. Of course, you can't come back if you never were there in the first place. But and I also want to go to Sicilia, baby. I want to go to Palermo and Corleone. Isn't that something? Why the hell would anybody want to go to Corleone unless they were like Godfather intensive, right? Who the hell ever heard of Corleone?
I don't know. Maybe they got nice trattorias there or something.
I would think so. You show me a place in Italy that doesn't have a good trattoria, and I'll show you a place that ain't on the map. So anyway, somebody sent this in, and of course, I love when they block out their name on the. Oh, and look where it's from. It's from University Dodge. Can you explain this to me?
No.
If you look at the top of this fax, it's got the name of an MD. You see that? I'm not going to read the name on here. And then if you look at the bottom of the fax, it's faxed from University Dodge. So I guess the original fax came from this doctor, and then they sent it to their buddy, their paisan at University Dodge, which other than selling cars, they spend all day over there like faxing us, which is fine. They send us some good stuff once in a while. And maybe a poll every now and then.
Right.
Anyway, here it is. It says, speaking of peeing, somebody wrote on here, 2 women friends had gone for a girls' night out. Both were very faithful and loving wives. However, they had gotten over-enthusiastic on the Bacardi breezers, incredibly drunk, and walking home they needed to pee, so they stopped in the cemetery. One of them had nothing to wipe with, so she thought she would take off her panties and use them. Her friend, however, was wearing a rather expensive pair of panties and didn't want to ruin them. She was lucky enough to squat down next to a grave that had a wreath with a ribbon on it, so she proceeded to wipe with that. After the girls did their business, they proceeded to go home. The next day, one of the women's husbands was concerned that his normally sweet and innocent wife was still in bed hungover. So he phoned the other husband and said, "These girls' nights out have got to stop. I'm starting to suspect the worst. My wife came home with no panties." "That's nothing," said the other husband. "Mine came back with a card stuck to her ass that said, 'From all of us at the fire station, we'll never forget you.'" That's kind of cute, no matter who it was really from. Whoa, doctor. Now, let's see. What do we need there? I keep losing the right page. If I'd write it down in front of me here instead of being some kind of a jackass, I can't help being a jackass. 1394 or 17. What is it? 1694. We need 6 more votes for 1700, and that's got 23 minutes to go with no phone calls. By the way, I have that thing turned off, and I guarantee you I'm not taking that. What are you going to do tomorrow? You got to do the show tomorrow, so you're going to be taking calls tomorrow.
Right.
Well, why is that?
Because I don't read too good.
How much have I read today? I haven't read a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, you got me to talk to. I got Chris.
Now, was that a shot?
Yeah, I think it was.
You guys were bonding here a little while back. I thought you were ganging up on me.
I had a line there, but we'll just let it go.
Yeah.
We'll mix it up.
You don't say it to my face. You'd rather say it behind my back.
Of course. That's right. Just wait. Wait till the mics are off.
It's the George Rodriguez effing way. That's all right. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. Got a nice big paycheck. In fact, what's the date today? Today is the 19th. I think early next week there'll be another big fat paycheck. This one a really big fat one. And the IRS tax refund came back. I don't mind talking about money, you know. I mean, money isn't everything, but boy, it's sure better having it than not. You know what I mean? It's not everything. But boy, if I had to choose between having money and not, I'll take the money.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Now, what I'm going to do right at 2 o'clock, tell you what I'm going to do, like Jimmy Durante used to say, and it is Jimmy Durante. Tell you what I'm going to do. He'd roll up his sleeves. Yeah, right.
Tell you what I'm going to do.
That big schnoz and that silly hat covering up his bald spot. Not. And I'm going to sit down at 2 o'clock. I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter. Remember that by Billy Williams Trio or whoever did it? Billy Williams Quartet? Whoever did that. You got that? I'm going to sit right down and write myself. And you've heard that, haven't you? A letter? Yes. That's a good song.
Is that the name of it?
I mean, it's a corny old song.
Is that the name of it? Sit right down?
I'm going to sit right down and blow your brains out if you don't cut the crap. By the Billy Williams Trio or Quartet or Quintet or somebody. Not the Billy Williams that used to play for the Cubs. Oh, that's a sports thing. I'm sorry. You got it? I bet you don't have it.
I don't have it.
I'm going to sit right down. Anyway, I'm going to make that check out for Josh. I'm going to run over to the mailbox. I'm going to pop it in the mail. How's that? And the letter, too. I'm going to plop it right in there. A lot of plopping going on today in that poll. 345 votes. I would use the public bathroom only for emergencies, 178. Anytime, 103. The sane people, 103. I don't know what you're so uptight about, okay? What are you going to catch in there, okay? Like gonorrhea or some grotesque? I mean, what's the big deal? All these people think
I'm going to catch them. Yuck.
Yeah, well, that's possible.
Gross.
Well, yeah, if it's really gross and unappetizing, of course, nobody, unless it was like a major emergency, like at Vinny's that time, when I slid off the toilet seat, because it was like hanging loose, and the seat, too. I will use a public bathroom, only if it's clean 45, only if it's empty 9. I never go in public bathroom 6, and I can only use my own bathroom 4. So I bring along like a porta potty along with you.
Suck it in and hold it.
Cuckoo, baby, let's turn this mother out. Puff the Magic Rapper is on my TV. No one heard of him before, or his name is Puff Daddy. I said that's Puff the Magic Rapper. Won't be here that long. Not unless he learns to sing or to write a friggin' song. I said Puff the Magic Rapper is all over MTV. Only because someone shot Notorious B.I.G. That fat guy. Maybe someone should tell him making it this way is wrong. Picking at your dead best friends, decaying flesh and bone. Oy. Snoop Doggy Doggy Dog on the ball track.
145. I got a very amusing thing to tell you in a second here.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's amusing or sad.
I'll let you know.
You're not fooling anybody, wacky one out there. You're not fooling nobody with your Ethan picture and your Christopher name, all this other. Very, just amazing. I think what he's trying to tell the world is...
I have no line.
Right. Billy Goat has the facts here. He says, I have a few things to get off my chest. Well, good. First, I wish you'd take some calls. No, not today. I can't help but think that your cranks are a bunch of Cho Sung-Huis waiting to explode and you're their therapy. Well, guess what? They're not taking over the show, okay? I'm not turning my show over to half a dozen morons, including Jolly Joe Bell. Well, maybe if Neil would screen it. You know nothing about this show or what we do on this show. You know nothing about the Neil Rogers Show, Jolly Joe. Take your fat ass and get out of my face. Then... Billy Goat says, second, cats are very unique pets that even the ancient Egyptians praised, and anyone who owned one might actually have a higher intellect than just some dog owner. Oh, yeah, if you own a cat, you got a higher intellect, right. Except for cat ladies, it says. And third, if you're going to hate Miami, I can hate your poll, says Billy. Yeah, well, we hate you, Billy Goat. So guess what? I just went onto our, our MySpace show page, and I see a thing there, and it says Christopher. Remember Christopher from not that long ago, your close personal friend?
Right.
Who was sending it, Gwen, who had a different name first, and who hacked our page and the whole deal. Christopher was also, and a bunch of other misfits. At any rate, it's the only problem with that is, I'm back, somebody hacked my page, and you thought I was a spammer. Well, guess what? It's not Christopher's picture, though. It's Ethan. Remember Ethan?
Yeah.
Who turned out to be the wacky one, I don't want to say wacky Jackie. Who turned out to be somebody whose problem is...
I have no line.
Yeah. So I immediately blocked it and deleted it and got rid of it.
Yeah.
No chance, Jack. Just go find some other hobby, okay?
Boy.
Ethan my ass.
Obsession is a dangerous thing.
Isn't that pathetic? I mean, how stupid could anybody think I'm like? I would forget that the picture, the semi-nude picture of Ethan from Nova, who is also Chris, who is also a wacky Jackie, who is also somebody out there. We just go away. 365 4 votes on the toilet poll. This story about the woman accusing mother with axe after an argument. I got that in my poll, but I don't have time for it. But thanks whoever sent it, and I already got it. It's not. It was in the paper,
Yeah, local news.
John Nichols writes in The Nation, impeach Cheney first, ? I would say,
all right.
Good start.
In Vietnam.
Yeah, that's where you belong. It's no secret that Ohio Congressman Dennis Kucinich has been toying with the idea of moving articles of impeachment against a member of the Bush administration, and he appears to be focusing more and more of his attention on the man that many activists around the country see as the ripest target for sanctioning, Vice President Dick Cheney. Despite House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's efforts to convince Democrats to keep presidential accountability off the table, Kucinich is just one of many House Democrats who have acknowledged in recent days that they're hearing the call for action loud and clear from their constituents and from grassroots activists across the country. I get one call after another in saying impeach the president, says Congressman John Murtha, Democrat of Pennsylvania. Congresswoman Diane Watson, Democrat of California, says constituents in Los Angeles are saying impeachment. I'm hearing that more and more and more. And more. Kucinich, for his part, has sent more signals than anybody else in the caucus about his interest in raising accountability issues. A congressman who's broken with Pelosi on issues relating to the funding of the war in Iraq has been blunt about his frustration with the caution of Congress when it comes to addressing executive excess. This House cannot avoid its constitutionally authorized responsibility to restrain the abuse of executive power, he told the House last month, adding that impeachment may well be the only remedy which remains to stop a war of aggression against Iran. Around the same time, in a letter to supporters of his anti-war bid for the 2008 Democratic presidential nomination, Kucinich asked if it was time to put impeachment on the table. The response was an overwhelming yes. Earlier this week, according to media reports, Kucinich emailed House colleagues with a note that began, I intend to introduce articles of impeachment with respect to the conduct of Vice President Cheney. Kucinich put the plan on hold after the Virginia Tech shooting massacre, but the general expectation is that he'll raise the issue anew after a decent interval. Cheney's office sees no grounds for impeachment. The Vice President's had nearly 40 years of government service and done so in an honorable fashion, says Megan McGinn, Cheney's deputy press secretary. McGinn got that line out with a straight face, John Nichols says. Americans who are not on the Vice President's payroll are inclined to recognize Cheney's manipulation of intelligence prior to the Iraq War, his active role in going after administration critic Joe Wilson and his wife Valerie Plame, and his ongoing links to the Halliburton war profiteering cartel as arguments against giving the Vice President any prizes for honorable government service. Impeachment activists have in recent months pushed an impeach Cheney first message, in part to counter the complaint that impeaching Bush would put an even darker figure in charge. Of course, going after the most powerful vice president in history has consequences as well. In the unlikely event that Cheney were removed from office, one line of reasoning goes, Bush would for the first time find himself in charge. Then they would fear us. Then we'd be in, you think we're in trouble now.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't seen nothing yet. By the Blues Magoos, wasn't that it? You ain't seen nothing yet?
I think so. Let's hear some.
On Columbia Records, I do believe. Oh, George might just have it in his pile. In his heap. Uriah Heep. You ain't seen nothing yet, Blues Magoos. Where is it?
Looking.
You got it?
Looking for it. Oh, no.
Don't got it. Are you sure? You're positive?
Are you sure?
You scoured the library?
Oh, I'm trying to get alphabetical. There it is.
There you go.
We ain't got nothing yet.
Oh, sorry.
That's why I was confused. First search returned nothing.
So Christopher has walked into Ethan. Oh, and guess how many friends he's got?
3?
No.
100?
1. Guess what his friend's name is?
I give up.
Begins with a T.
Terry.
T-O-M.
Oh,
Tom.
T.
Oh, my God. Talk about desperate. Talk about I have absolutely no life whatsoever. But that's what makes it fun. Fun for the people on it. See, I've adopted a whole new altitude about it now. Because there are the, real people on there, of which there are, about a half a dozen that I confabulate with pretty damn regular. And then there are the other people. And some of them are okay, and some of them are like you were talking before earlier in the show. Crazy people are dangerous. Make no mistake about it. 370 votes were over. Did I mention we went over 1,700? Just to put a little feather in Chris's earlobe there.
You got
the pub smokes dope.
The pub smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The pub smokes dope.
Oh.
He likes to smoke in mass. The pub smokes dope. He's a groovy head. The pub smokes dope. The pub smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Got him higher masculine, facing higher fat. Hopes and won't get stoned on grass. Jesus freaks out back. Jesus Christ is super hippie, never shut up junk. Popes and won't get stoned alone. Preach in church shit drunk. The Pope smokes dope. God give him the grass. The Pope smokes dope. He likes to smoke a man. The Pope smokes dope. He's a groovy head. The Pope smokes dope. The Pope smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jill forgot to take a pill, now she's got a daughter. Taking pills is not a joke for a groovy pope. Birth control can be a toke of marijuana smoke. The Pope smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The Pope smokes dope. He likes to smoke a man. The Pope smokes dope. He's a groovy head. The Pope smokes
See, that fades for like 17 seconds. Probably ought to delete that.
Bye, bye, bye.